bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey everybody, welcome and happy, what is it, Wednesday? Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, and hot topics. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around. Hold on, what is going on? There was something I was looking for, but oh, sorry. Hold on, let me see. I don't know, my job just contacted me with some stuff. I'm like, what is going on? Anyway, so we got a lot of tea to spill today. So we got to talk about what we talking about. Because I got my list. We got to talk about Jason Collins. The tea regarding what his cause of death was has just come out. We also got to talk about this Harry Styles tour, because the Harry Styles tour, the people that went to the tour out in Amsterdam is ripping it to shreds, saying they can't see jack crap on the damn floor. You know, when they got them floor seats, and he charging over $1,000 for them damn things. Then we also got to talk about Michael Jackson. There's a docuseries coming out regarding one of his 2005 CM trials and acquittal. So we'll get into that. Plus, speaking of Netflix, we got to talk about Kylie Minogue and the fact that she had beat cancer privately for a second time. She also is reflecting on the Impossible Princess era, because I know like a lot of people was dogging her over the Impossible Princess. That was like one of the most, not the biggest pinnacles of her career. And we also have to talk about whether or not she's featured on Confessions too, because that big rumor was floating around. Also, speaking of Madonna, Ryan Murphy is catching flack for saying that Madonna is the most important artist of the last 50 years, and says, out of all the pop girlies of today, Taylor Swift is the only woman who comes close to Madonna's legacy. I have some thoughts. And speaking of thoughts, Madonna threw some shade at Charli xcx earlier this morning. So we got to talk about that. She finally clapped back over that comment that she said the dance floor is dead and all that mess. Speaking of Madonna, Lizzo out here stealing a page out of Madonna handbook and putting up pamphlets of her damn album all over LA. So we got to talk about that. Tank and Durand Bernarr had a little beef going on social media. They squashed it, but we'll get into the whole grist of the mill. And Tevin Campbell even, and it's over a Tevin Campbell song. And Tevin Campbell even jumped into the chat. So we got to talk, because he caught a stray in the midst of all of it. So we'll talk about that. Plus, Maya has a new album out and says that she was inspired by Prince. It's got this 80s funk style, and she even addresses the, being dropped from the Pussycat Dolls tour that was supposed to be in the US. She was supposed to open with Lil Kim, and she addresses it and basically gives her thoughts on that. Cardi B said, speaking of tours, Cardi B said she has so much fun on this Little Miss Drama tour, she wants to go back out on the road. So she got the bug. And Linda Perry is catching some flack for defending Nicki Minaj for supporting Donald Trump, saying that it was just personal misjudgment on her part. So we have that stuff. So it's literally, we're going to be just talking about a lot of the divas and stuff today, because there's nothing really messy going on in the world of pop culture and hot topics. So we just got to, spill the tea on that and things of that nature. So before we get to our topics of the day, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have super chats, super stickers. You can hype the channel. Just hit the like, subscribe, all that stuff to help with the algorithm and get it out there for more eyes on this little show that continues to drudge along. So let me come over here. Who's in the building? Not Chris broadcasting live from Uncle Charlie's. Can you imagine? First of all, I never even got the opportunity to go to Uncle Charlie's. I have older friends who always talked about Uncle Charlie's and was able to go, but Uncle Charlie's was before my time. But I'm aware of it. Onyx is in the building. Robert is in the building. Harry said new state. Well, he ain't got no choice in the matter. And on top of that, you should have thought of that before y'all put this damn stage show together. I got thoughts. We're just going to wait till we get to that point, because I don't want to say it now and then save it for later. But you talking about, yeah, I got all the stuff regarding that story, even the update, because his team went and made a comment about it earlier. Shadows girls in the building. How you doing? How you doing? All right, so y'all, let me hit my banner and let's get right into the tea. And let's talk about Jason Collins. So the other day we talked about Jason Collins, who passed away, one of the first openly homosexual NBA players who passed away from brain cancer. Charles Barkley even came out and paid tribute and even addressed the elephant in the room. I think Shaq was on that panel as well. And addressed the big elephant in the room and the fact of the matter that, yeah, homophobia still exists in sports, even though there are a lot of LGBTQ people who are also athletes who partake in basketball, football, baseball, hockey, soccer, it's all in there. And then we see heated rivalry, even though, I guess I'm engulfed in hockey because I work at Madison Square Garden, New York Rangers and all that stuff. But, and it's gotten me interested in learning about politics, about hockey, because I work there. And then talking with a lot of the hardcore fans and stuff, where it's like, they fill me in on little things, and I'm like trying to learn all the different isms and stuff with hockey. But hockey is not necessarily my thing. I'm more or less into basketball, hence why, I'm at MSG and the Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks. They won yesterday, first round. What was that, in the Eastern Conference? They won last night's game. So they was well rested. But Charles Barkley basically implied that if y'all think that there are no queer people or gay people who are in basketball or in sports of that matter, then you're an idiot. I mean, it's a little harsh for him saying that, but I agree. It's just like, yeah, you got to be all kinds of a dingbat if you think that it's nothing but heterosexuals running around here playing sports. I mean, some of them sitting up in the closet with a whole wife, kids, and everything, having to live a double life because there's this this mindset that people have that if you come out as LGBT, then you're not profitable or they can't make money or whatever. But it's like, it just goes to show that it's okay that you could be queer. You could also be in sports. Not every gay LGBT person does drag, does hair and makeup, plays up all the stereotypes that we have. And we live for the stereotypical homosexuals. A lot of y'all, pretty much have, and if we're going to get on the political side, have paved the way for us to have the rights that we have today. So shout out to all the obvious femme girls out there, the trans girls, the effeminate gay men, and all that other stuff. I don't know if we can lump the Butch Queens in there because the Butch Queens we a hybrid. we balance the scale. But besides all of that, let me stop joke. All jokes aside, we now have, and I'm like, y'all work quick. We now have a cause of death in regards of what he officially had passed away from. So according to so shout out to Entertainment Weekly for this story. So it says, and they also said that he on May 9th that I think that he had 2 surgical procedures in April. He underwent I'm gonna take my time with this word, ventriculoperitoneal shunt procedure. This is a VP shunt. I'm like, child, my mouth, that was a mouthful. Ventriculoperitoneal. Petriculoperitoneal. It's like, that's how you got to spell it, spread it out. Ventriculoperitoneal shunt procedure on April 20th. The medical device can be surgically implanted to relieve excess cerebrospinal fluid pressure on the brain, usually caused by hydrocephalus, per the National Liberty of Medicine. Now, it says a week after the passing of NBA player Jason Collins, the official cause of his death has been revealed. The 47-year-old athlete died from respiratory failure with underlying contributing conditions, including a pulmonary embolism, hydrocephalus, which is buildup of fluid in the brain, and glioblastoma, a highly aggressive form of brain cancer. So Collins, who made history in 2014 as the first openly homosexual NBA player, announced his glioblastoma diagnosis in September of 2025, only 4 months after he married the Help producer, Brunson Green. You was kind, you was smart, you was a boy. Did he give them a shit pie too? Now, the 7-foot center who played for the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets, passed away on May 12th, 2 weeks before what would have been his and Green's first wedding anniversary. Now, according to Collins' death certificate, his body was cremated on May 15th. You know what? I was thinking that. I was like, if when the time comes for me to go, I think I want to be cremated. I mean, my sister, my parents, they've all bought plots. They have their little grounds and everything all set up. I even seen it out at Pine Lawn in Suffolk County. So if y'all know Long Island, y'all know exactly where that cemetery is at. So my grandmother was buried there. My grandfather's gonna be buried there. I think he also has an extra space. So he was like, if y'all want an extra space, it's gonna be $3,000. You be paying for that. I think when he got it like 20 some odd years ago, it was around 2001, because I think that's when he got it for my grandmother. It was less. And you know, with inflation, everything goes up double. So thought about it, I was like, I want to be cremated, spread my ashes amongst the dirt. Since I am an earth sign, I'd rather be part of the earth. Let me go. I don't want people coming over and dropping flowers on my shit and it's just taking up space and wasting space. So I'm like, just cremate me, spread me all over the dirt. I can grow in with the earth and all that other stuff. I don't know. This is like some real spiritual, whatever, when it comes to that. So they said Jason changed lives in unexpected ways that was an inspiration to all who knew him and to those who admired him from afar. This is according to his heartbroken family, and that's what they said in a statement. We are grateful for the outpouring of love and prayers over the last 8 months and for this exceptional medical care that he received from doctors and nurses. Our family misses him dearly. So shout out to you, Jason Collins, and Jason Collins family, sorry for your loss. And yeah, that's basically it on that. So I definitely want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story regarding Jason Collins and his unfortunate cause of death? I mean, we knew it had to do with the brain, he had brain cancer, but all the other contributing factors that went along with it, now we know. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I watched the video why soccer never took over the U.S., where it's the biggest sport in the world. In America, it's normal to trash talk, slam, and cuss your opponent to rattle confidence. In soccer, that's not the motto. It's more like wishing the best. Well, yeah, it is a bit of a celebration, because I remember I worked soccer when I'm at City Field. We work soccer games. We also are building a soccer stadium next to City Field. I've seen it. I don't know if it's done or not, but based off of the angle that I see it, they got a lot of the stuff up. So they working quick over there. So I think it'll be done by next season. But yeah, when we have the soccer games, it does seem like it's more of a celebratory thing. The people are more or less quiet and they're watching the game. And we did have like a little section when I work on the Excelsior level, that there's like a group of people over there and they're like banging on drums and it's like a celebration. So yeah, and I mean, trash talk, yeah, that's okay. That is part of the thing. But we have to also remember that a lot of our sports, particularly like baseball and football and these other sports, are derivative of other sports from other countries. We just created American versions of these other sports. So I can't even think on the top. Do we really have a sport in this country that is like American made? We've sort of just taken what other people have in other countries and kind of just created our own little thing. Because football is soccer, but now we call our football football. Football is actually soccer overseas. Baseball is kind of like something that, of course, exists in other parts of the world, but we change it. Even I think cricket is like a form of baseball. So, like you said, when I die, put me in a clear casket in a small locked shack. Shut up. Like, how you gonna answer it? And you said with a working cell phone, you gonna be trying to call people beyond the grave? All right, y'all. So now let's get into this story. Let's talk about Harry Styles. So Harry Styles already kicked off his tour. He's over in Amsterdam at the moment. Robin was the opening act. From what people could see, she looked good. They couldn't see on the stage, but they saw in that big ass jumbotron that they had on, and which was one of the complaints. And people are literally out here saying that Harry Styles has lost the plot. Like, of course, when he had Harry's House, which of course was a good record, as it was, it's a great song. He's got a lot of pretty good songs. I guess his career has surpassed being a part of One Direction. However, when he came out with his new album, which is so damn boring and a chop, one of the worst, in my opinion, it's going on my worst album of the year list. Him, Chris Brown, and Drake. All of them are going to be in the top of worst albums of the year, because I don't know what's going on with the men. Why are the men bringing out some of the most driest, most boring albums, and the girls be having to give damn near a kidney in order for y'all to give them any kind of accolades. Because the energy that y'all be over here talking about Dula Pete don't be giving what she be giving on them stage performances when she first started out. But I saw it. I worked in the Future Nostalgia tour, and Miss Mamas was up there giving full choreography. She was flipping that hair. She was doing the choreography. She was at least in sync, unlike Harry Styles, who was out of sync with them dancers. It's like, maybe you should have spent a couple more hours in the rehearsal studio trying to be in line with your backup dancers. Because if you're coming out here talking about you in your dancing era, then I need you to be on Jennifer Lopez level type choreography. I'm not saying that they got to pick you up and spin you around and flip you up in the air and do all kinds of Cirque du Soleil acrobatics, but at least get and look in the mirror and get a 1-2 step going and make sure you in lockstep with your dancers, if this is what you're talking about. And then on top of that, if you're going to talk about you doing dance music or whatever the case is, where is the dance music on this album? Because like I said before, if you had LCD Sound System, you said it was an inspiration, and also David Bowie, I got none of that on this record. There seems to be more down-tempo songs than up-tempo, and it's like disco occasionally. I'm like, where is the disco? So we got that. This haircut ain't serving. No shade, but Harry Styles is 31, and I'm like, where? Because Harry looked like he pushing 40. And I don't know if it's the outfits making him look older, or the haircuts making him look older, or the facial hairs making him look older, or Zoe Kravitz, melanated ass done sucked all what was, all the whiteness out of this one, because, she half white. And so she probably sucked all majority of his youth out of him, or I don't know where all that came, but he looking older. And the music is not giving. And this tour looks crazy because how you got a stage? First of all, the whole setup looks ridiculous, and now they're talking about they're gonna fix some of the issues, and that's great. But y'all didn't think this all the way through before y'all decided to hit the road and decided going to say, like, y'all don't be looking at, okay, let me see what y'all did with the stage design, put it all together, and because Madonna, what she do is she have her stage set up in a warehouse, and they work of every aspect of the stage. They do a whole run through the entire show from top to bottom, so that way by the time the tour actually kicks off, people already are used to being on the stage, knowing where their marks are, and knowing how to move around. You didn't think about that, or are you just one of these guys that I'm so used to just being me and the backup band, and then I just get up on stage and stand still? But now you want to sit up here running across the whole damn, all these 5 different catwalks you got set up like you Katy Perry on her last tour. Remember when Katy Perry was running around on her stage in the moon boots and that leotard, and y'all was over there making fun of her, and then she was running on the backs of her damn dancers? Let me show you what the stage looked like, because this shit was a mess. Hold on. I hate when... Okay, so yeah, this is the one where we had with Robin, and people was like, they couldn't even see her. So this is her on stage. Well, that's her on the, if you could see, on the big screen, but you can't see her on the stage because literally the stage is taller than the damn security guard. And when I work many of shows, and I work in live entertainment, the stage has never been that tall. Like, it's tall enough the way it's like you at least could see the artist or whatever on the stage. Now, I guess if you're on the upper levels, yeah, you got a good view, but if you're on the floor, and this is why, no shade, I be encouraging people, like, don't even buy a floor ticket, because they be the main ones. I need to stand on the chair. I can't see. I was like, well, who told you to spend all this money to be on the floor? I could have told you can't really see shit on the floor. People was complaining about that with Beyonce, too. When they create these massive stages and your vision is blocked. So let me get into the situation of it all. So there was a lot of fans that went online and was complaining over the fact that they had obstructed views, all this other stuff. They had special VIP floor tickets, On the first two nights of his Together Together tour, but found their views obscured by the 10 feet tall walkways circulating, well, they're catwalks, but walkways, whatever, circulating the stadium's floor that the singer frequently performed upon. The tour's official rep has issued the following statement, saying the floor concept was designed to give fans freedom of movement and the ability to experience the show from different positions rather than being confined to one fixed viewing angle. That open, free-flowing floor, say that 10 times fast, that open, free-flowing floor experience has always been an essential part of Harry's live shows. A small area of the staging in specific floor positions appears to have had a restricted sight line. Those areas are being reviewed carefully and adjusted where possible in compliance with all safety restrictions. Well, I do notice that when you have like the open GA floor or whatever, and he's created this whole thing where you could just openly move around, and I know he's probably encouraging that with a lot of the fans. A lot of y'all I have watched, y'all literally, when y'all be having the little wristbands, y'all come on the floor and y'all want to get up there up against that stage, y'all be running like fucking cattle to get to that little spot, and y'all don't want to move. So they're right on that part. However, I don't think that's where the complaint is coming from in regards to the fans. The fans are complaining that the stage is so damn tall they can't see him. So even if you want to talk about roam around, moving around, and all this other stuff, which when I've worked events, like I'll even use Peso Pluma for an example. He had the regular stage and he had a B stage. So there was a period where he actually came down and went to the B stage. People were moving around so they can go to the B stage and film or whatever the case was, or be in the moment and just be with the artist or whatever. Y'all could be, I mean, so that should be encouraged. But the fact of the matter is the stage, and I just showed y'all with the Robin thing. The stage is so damn tall, people can't see what's going on. So that's not the complaint. Is not about freely moving around, because I worked many of shows where it was like open floor. Tyler the Creator had an open floor and even had this little thing above at the top that people had to look up and watch him perform. It looked like a hovering catwalk. So he had that open floor. Billie Eilish had an open floor situation. Nobody was complaining about not seeing. I mean, if y'all were, let me know in the comments if y'all had problems seeing her show. But she had an open floor situation. She didn't have no issues. So it's your stage design is shit. That's what people are complaining about. And I don't really think you took it in consideration, because I always thought like, okay, if you're designing this thing, y'all didn't take it in consideration, like maybe when y'all set it up in the stadium, that you move around the different parts of the stadium to see like, is it obstructive view? Am I going to have a problem seeing this artist? Or were y'all so busy worrying about, oh, I'm going to charge people $800 to over $1,000? And I would just want to take y'all money, and I don't give a fuck whether or not you can see the show or not, because this is what this is giving. This is giving like he's only doing this as a money grab. He don't really give a shit about this. Like he just half-assed this era. He's half-assing this tour, and I don't care if you've been doing your little marathon running and all this stuff so you can prepare to run around your tired-ass stage. I'm talking about if you're going to be charging people $800 to $1,000, I need, as I said earlier, I need some Cirque du Soleil acrobatics and all kinds of other stuff. I need my money's worth. You're not just going to be running around half singing your songs, relying on your backup dancers, backup dancers and the singers to do all the heavy lifting. And people was even complaining. They was like, well, how is it that you only singing 20-something on songs, but you're not doing as much as like Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny was singing, I think, damn near 40 songs. When I did Peso Pluma's concert, and he had another singer there, I forgot the guy's name. They did 32 songs, 33 songs. There's a lot of artists that are doing that amount of these long, this is a lot of songs. Man, I feel like with this whole catalog, and the amount of money that people are spending, because tickets are ridiculous these days. So yes, y'all need to work y'all ass off. We want that Michael Jackson, Madonna work ethic on the stage. That's what I grew up with. We don't want ain't no half stepping, as the song once said, Big Daddy Kane. There ain't no half stepping. You gotta bring it with every ball. So they said that Variety attended the tour's opening, but I heard they was blowing so much smoke up Harry Styles' ass. I'm like, child, bye. First of all, y'all are a trade paper, so y'all gonna sit there and give some fake ass whatever, just so that way y'all can get the dibs on Harry Styles. So we know you're not gonna really give what is giving. So what I'm going to do is go by what the fandom said. Fuck a Variety. Just stick to the rivers and lakes that y'all are used to, which is talking about what movie is coming out, because y'all need the permission of the network or the studio to make your movie announcements. So But they also said that, yeah, he was rarely in one place for long. He was moving around a lot. I think I even have that I could show y'all the Instagram page of one of the people that went, and they basically was given like a background, well, a carousel of what the show was giving. And I'm gonna mute it because I ain't trying to get demonetized. But so yeah, there you see him there. I don't know who dressed you. This is like, it's giving dad from the 80s with them pants. And then of course you see all these little basic ass girls up in the audience with their phones and all excited, even though y'all just y'all just feeling the ways of like, I'm in the moment, I'm there. But I know y'all mad. So they're showing all the people there. There he goes, moving around the stage. And you watch, after like the eighth show, he gonna be like, what the fuck was I thinking putting this big ass stage together? Because now I'm tired. So y'all just thought that because it's a massive stadium tour, except when he comes to the US and he only does Madison Square Garden, he's gonna have to figure out a way that, yeah, you're gonna have to downsize a lot of this stuff, because Madison Square Garden is an arena. We're not a stadium. It's not like you're doing it at the MetLife or Citi Field or whatever that would work there. I know what song he's doing. I can tell by the dancing. And then he goes with the choreography. So in so many ways, you can't really see him, or if you do see him, it's like, y'all neck gonna be hurting trying to get through this entire show. So also then it says the concept setup is unusual in that the front stage where Styles' band is located for most of the show is only sometimes the focus of attention. Styles takes full advantage of the walkways, three of them spanning the floor lengthwise and the crossing and middle. With one cross in the middle, totaling around 350 yards in length, and spent about half the show away from the main stage. Almost constantly on the move, one highly motivated fan even mapped out his locations during the show. His band and dancers even joined him for a mid-show segment, performing 3 songs on the middle walkway. The goal seemed to be to allow as many fans as possible to have a close view of the singer, and Styles easily covered several miles walking, dancing, or running down the walkways. Tour representatives encouraged fans to take advantage of the space on the floor and move to a better position if they found their view obscured, rather than remaining in one spot or staying close to the barricades next to the walkways. However, sources say the tour's production is working at improving the areas with obscured sight lines. That's why I said, I'm like, y'all should have really thought this through. It doesn't feel like y'all actually thought it through at all. So now you're having to wait for, and it's funny, this is why it's always the worst when you drop your show first, because y'all ain't gonna get the full bells and whistles. You're gonna get the mishaps. You're gonna get the malfunctions. You're gonna get all the y'all are the guinea pigs. The first show is always y'all the guinea pigs. So by maybe show 10 or 12, he'll be in the pocket. The show probably setup will be a whole lot better, and we'll just have to see. So now they said how those issues will be mitigated is unclear, but after Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour experienced a number of similar complaints, some venues apparently elevated the floor in sections, although there were no official comment from the tour on that tactic. So they're going to talk about, they're going to probably add extra levels to the floor, so that way the fans will probably be able to have a much heightened view instead of them having to make the stage smaller. So now this morning, they said in response to multiple complaints online from Harry Styles fans who paid for special VIP floor tickets on the first 2 nights of the Singers Together tour, but found their views obscured by the 10 feet tall walkways. He did take to his IG stories. Hold on. Because I do have that photo. I mean, it's a little small, but I'm gonna pull it up for y'all. Hold on. Yeah, because I had to go and bring it up on my other thing. Hopefully it renders. But I'll read it to y'all since it's, so small in the thing. But it says, we've heard concerns from some fans regarding sightline The obstructions on the floor. We want every person in the room to have the best experience possible, and we are actively working on making adjustments to improve visibility while keeping everyone's safety a priority. Beginning Friday, the front bridges will be altered in Amsterdam and London. For future venues, we are working as quickly as possible to make adjustments that also fit within safety code and local compliance. In the meantime, temporary barricade adjustments have been made to the left and right front GA pits for tonight's show to improve stage visibility. Thank you for your patience, understanding, and for being part of Together with us. We love dancing with all our friends. Well, if only that album was given with this statement was in your Instagram stories that was going to expire in 24 hours. But we shall see, and I'll definitely be keeping abreast of the story as it develops. So I'm gonna be on the lookout. So Amsterdam people, I need y'all to report back. Did they elevate the situation where y'all don't have to have like an obstructive view and all this other stuff? I guess we'll just keep note of it as things happen. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding people went to the first night of the tour, and there's a plethora of complaints regarding being able to not see the show and all that other stuff. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the well, if you're on the floor, because I believe if you're above ground, everybody got a good view because they're not on the floor. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts on this story in the comments down below. I was like, why isn't that other thing not coming up? Okay, so let's see what the people are saying. As I wait for this damn thing to load so I can bring up y'all comments. Not just in case you wake up. Is basketball American? I don't know. Listen, I know you don't like hearing about anniversaries, but yesterday was the 20th anniversary of if someone said 3 years from now you'd be gone, I knew better because not Miss Pink. He said Harry needs to step into his Rock Michael Hutchins bag because quiet as it's kept. If we really gonna go there, these songs reek of NXS. Like, if we're not going to sit up here and address the elephant in the room that a lot of y'all be hijacking NXS and don't want to give the credit. You know, Kylie Minogue X, may he rest in peace. So we're going to sit up in here and take the people talk about David Bowie, which I didn't get none of that off the album. Unless you talking about in your last term when you was running around wearing little dresses and shit. But sonically and creatively, I'm not getting Bowie from anything you were doing. You were pretty much, especially songs on this album, is giving NXS tease. He does look weird dancing. And how can this stage work for an arena? Exactly. So which means it's going to be a lot smaller. Because you're not going to need a lot of people on the floor in regards of like general admission. You just need the people that's going to work the catwalks. You're going to need people working in North Entry. It's funny. I'm thinking out loud. All the directors you're going to need, people who are going to work North and South Entry, which is to let people know which way they can go in depending on which wristband you're going to need. And you need people that's going to work the North catwalk and the South catwalk. So probably going to need like 8 people down there. So I think we need to be okay with everyone not having a catwalk because to me, some shows look great with just a stage and an elaborate set, similar to like the Yeah, I do. I always like. I do agree with that. Everything doesn't need a catwalk. There's been some concerts I've been to where it's just like a regular stage. People come up, have a half pit. People come up to the stage, and then you have behind the half pit, you got the chair sections, which would be if you're on the floor, A, B, and C, and then if you're up in the little riser, it'd be 1, 2, and 3. So they definitely need to bring those back because I'm like, yeah, I definitely like a stage without a catwalk bill. People always feel like they need it. Harry ain't doing anything worthy of. That's what I was saying. I'm like, what do you just want to have that stupid look just to have it? So that was look at me, I'm running. But I'm like, yeah, and You're going to get exhausted relatively quickly. I don't give a damn if you talking about he's 31, 32 years old. He going to be feeling it after a while. Trust and believe when he run and when he on his 50th show, not even his 20th show. And he's like, okay, I ain't going to be just doing all this running. You doing that because that was opening night. But you ain't think, and that's what I think about the problem with a lot of these artists. Y'all only think of the now. Y'all don't think of the later on, moving forward. You don't be thinking about that. It's like, okay, so this is cute or whatever on night 1. This is cute on night 4 and 5. Now we on night 15. Can I keep running up and down this crazy ass looking catwalk all the time? Okay, good luck. Get rid of the bridges, make it a catwalk. That was also the issue. This is true. It's like in no shade, yes, I do like Zayn over Harry. Harry just looks like some average kid, and y'all just be obsessed with him because he's skinny and he has nice hair. But I think Zayn because he got a little swag to him. He's got he's also got a little caramel up in that skin. The accent, the R&B pop flourishes with his music. Like his new album is actually really good. It's just whatever be going on with him health wise, he needs to get that together. So I definitely like Zayn over Harry, but people get all caught up in the mediocrity of it all. That's why y'all be all obsessed with Harry Styles, but whatever. Anyway, now let's speak about somebody who ain't mediocre. Let's talk about Michael Jackson. So Netflix, and I didn't even know this was happening until I saw the trailer earlier today. Apparently they have a trailer that they just dropped of Michael Jackson, the movie that's out right now, grossing close to almost $1 billion at the worldwide box office. Everybody's loving it. The music is flying up the charts on Spotify and Apple Music, and people are streaming it. And he dethroned, he beat Drake fake ass record because he was trying to beat a dead person. And y'all be thinking that's a flex. I'm like, he's not even alive to fight you on this shit. The man is dead and still beat your record. But anyway, so with all of that stuff and them ignoring the molestation stuff in the movie, Netflix ain't shying away from it because this upcoming documentary they have coming out is going to be addressing the 2005 SA situation that I believe he was acquitted on. So a new and they love a 3-parter. So a new 3-part Netflix series about the explosive 2005 Michael Jackson trial titled Michael Jackson: The Verdict is set to premiere on June 3rd. The docuseries covers the pop icon's 2003 charges of child M-word, the resulting trial, and the media circus that revolved around the courtroom proceedings. The doc features key individuals who were in the courtroom, including jurors, witnesses, accusers, and defenders. Is Kamala Harris going to be up in there? Because wasn't she a part of that situation? Where she was trying to get Michael Jackson to go to jail. That's why Janet don't like her. But you said the series explores the case against Jackson from both the prosecution, the defense side. Now they said though Jackson was acquitted on all counts, interest in the iconic singer and his legal battles have continued long after his 2009 death. Now directed by Nick Green, the documentary is executive produced by Fiona Stourton. The filmmakers told Netflix that it felt like the right time to revisit the trial and its lingering questions, and they approached it as a historical account, presenting the facts as they unfolded in court, saying it's been 20 years since the trial of Michael Jackson in which he was found not guilty. Yet to this day, controversy still rages, the filmmakers told No cameras were allowed in court, and so the public's view of the facts at the time were filtered with commentators and presented piecemeal. It was time to take a forensic look at the trial as a whole. Now, anyone interested in the Michael Jackson story should feel this documentary gives them a window into what was largely a closed event and a chance to feel closer to what happened. The filmmakers also interviewed media figures who were covering the trial, saying that the aim was to take the audience inside the proceedings and only speak to eyewitnesses who played a part in those events, the filmmaker said. Now, Michael Jackson: The Verdict is created by showrunner David Herman, who also, blah, 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 there's a bunch of people that's executive producer that we don't know and we don't care. But It sounds interesting that this is coming out right now. I mean, the timing couldn't be greater, especially with Michael Jackson, people living for Michael Jackson with the success of this movie. Which everybody was complaining, oh, y'all don't be discussing the molestation stuff, and y'all giving more like this vapid Disney-fied version. All the complaints, and it was even on my end. I was like, yeah, I'm enjoying the music, but if we're gonna sit up here and do a documentary, I want to at least get to the meat and the bones of who Michael Jackson was, and not just all this surface level shit. And it seemed like the only way we're gonna get conversations going about Michael's past and some of the things of whether or not you believe that he SA'd some kids. We already did the story yesterday that Michael Jackson's friend, who allegedly fathered Prince and Paris Jackson, that's their real daddy, allegedly. And he came out and said that Michael confided in him and told him that he was abused, or he was M-worded as a kid, and thought it was like normal to be going through that. So now we're hearing this stuff coming out. So in a way, I guess I'm actually glad that Netflix has the cojones to take this on, because the estate is not going to be too pleased about this. But if they're handling it the right way and they're actually digging into the stuff that happened and bringing historical context and really bringing the facts and all the other stuff instead of propaganda, then I feel like this is definitely something I will be checking out when it drops. When is it? Next week? Because, yeah, they said, oh, wait, no, it's in 2 weeks, because this week is what? It's the week of the 23rd. Yeah, so in about 2 weeks, we should be getting it. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Is this something you're looking forward to be or interested in checking out regarding anything regarding Michael Jackson and his trials of diddling with kids and all this other stuff? Because, once you paid out Jordy Chandler and his family, you knew that it was going to be a lot of people coming out of the woodwork trying to get their piece of the pie. Well, then that's why I always say, like, if that's not something you ever did to people, I'm like, okay, bitch, we going to court and I'm going to clean you out. Because what you're not going to do is sit up in here and make me look like I'm an abuser of children. Because it makes you look guilty when you settle. I understand people don't want to be up in court and have to deal with all this other mess, but I'm like, well, I got time today. Because what you're not going to do is out here and smear me if I'm innocent. So let me know what you, especially if I had Michael's money, that's the approach I would take. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Unfortunately for Zayn, the PTSD of constantly touring an identity imposter during 1D, he had everything going for him on his debut era, and he had severe panic attacks. Well, child, you need to work that out with your therapist, because this whole thing about the imposter thing during 1D, you're not in One Direction anymore. Move on from that. The solo music is the opportunity for you to prove that you are not this manufactured pop star. This thing that was just put into a group and told to just sing and be a show pony and make money. Which is usually the situation when it comes to stuff like One Direction and NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and all that stuff. Look, you had plenty of artists of my generation. Let's use Justin Timberlake for an example. Faux shiz, but he was running around trying to act like he was a whole wigger, posturing up this whole thing because he was using a lot of black producers, black writers, a lot of black people using a lot of that influence and putting it into his music. Singing Michael Leftovers on the Justified album. All the rejected Michael Jackson songs ended up on Justified, because that's when Timbaland was writing songs for him and they were working on some stuff and Michael wasn't really feeling it and they passed it off to Justin. If you listen to Justified, you hear a lot of Michael isms up in there. So he don't make no qualms about being a poser. Justin Bieber and all of them the same thing. They went with it because it was a way for them to get up in there and I'm gonna get successful by any means necessary. Then you deal with the once I'm in there, I'm done being a show pony and I've already made y'all enough money. Now you done squeeze all the juice out of the lemon. Now I want to get in my creative bag. So y'all just be getting too in y'all feelings too damn early in y'all career. Wait 3 or 4 albums. Like, just give them what they want with the first 3, 4 albums, and then okay, album number 5. Now I gotta do me like that. I mean, look, shit. Beyonce did that once. She gave them people enough of the show pony tracks. Then she wanted to get real and creative and artistically creative, and that started with like the Beyonce album, then Lemonade, and all the other records beyond that. All the other stuff is just, I'm gonna give y'all hits. I'm gonna give y'all, full on Tina Turner isms. So, and the question is, was the verdict actually right? I mean, I guess we're going to have to watch the documentary in order to come to that conclusion. Because, a lot of people say they, look, Johnny Cochran said the glove don't fit, you must have quit. And we know OJ did it. And you said if you research how the team got the verdict was they showed receipts of the mom doing fraudulent stuff. And that's how they won. They used her own history against her and she went to jail. That's what I said. That's what I'd rather go to trial and then counter sue. Because what you're not going to do is sit up here and fuck up my reputation. Kesha dropped the video. I know. I posted it in the group chat. He said, and let's just say the best sex is with people who can do yoga and fold their body like origami. Well, shit, ask Madonna. Child Justified as a damn Khalees album. Oh, not Khalees album. Well, he was working with Pharrell too. So, it could be a, what do you call it? It could be a Michael Jackson Khalees hybrid. I kind of wish Khalees would come out of retirement because she out in Africa now. I kind of wish she would come out of retirement and just make music again. But I know she's been so burned by this industry and Pharrell and all of them. In total, how many people accused? That's a good question. I may have to look that up. The only Bay album I side out is Sasha Fierce. Well, when I made the whole thing about the show pony, Sasha Fierce was in my head what I was referencing. And you said B-Day and D Dangerously in Love. I was like, what's Dill Dangerously in Love? Funny thing, yesterday when we were talking about Guardians, when we was talking about Master of the Universe, and I said GOTG, I'm like, Game of Thrones? Child, it was Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know, I had a break. I totally forgot about that movie. Madonna did that. 3 commercial albums began with like a prayer. Once you stop the show pony, the numbers go less because the true fans. You said Beyonce had to fire her daddy to create 4. Yeah, because he probably was trying to be like Joe Jackson. He probably wanted her to make the same goddamn album over and over. And she was like, you want to know something? And here's the thing. Justice for 4, because I love that album. It is so R&B coded. I love the fact it feels like it's an old nasty barbecue record. Like if you feel like you're in the backyard grilling and you want to put a good album on, and it's like a nice breeze in the backyard, you got some lemonade mixed with some liquor up in there. That's a good album to put on. I like 4. I know a lot of people be sleeping on that record, but that was a good record. So Matthew was still. Ooh. Cheryl? We need a Beyonce biopic. I know she'll never do it because I know how these Virgos are. We are just too guarded. We need a Beyonce. Biopic because I know there's a lot of juicy tea that could be spilled and gonna have everybody gagging. That marriage, the lie, some people believe that. Look, there's rumors out there Beyonce is in her 50s. I'm like, y'all need to stop. Remember, I'm 2 days older than her, so what, I'm lying about my age too? He said, I feel like Beyonce didn't become a legendary status until her self-titled. Mm-hmm. Oh, did it? I don't even remember that, but it seemed like a lot of records around that time was leaking online. Anyway, let's get into since we're on the Pop Girly situation on Netflix. Let's talk about Kylie Minogue. So Kylie Minogue's Docuseries is officially out on Netflix. I did not get around to watching it yet because I just didn't get around to watching it. I'm going to get around to watching it. Hopefully tonight. I know they just dropped The Boys finale last night. I've been avoiding spoilers. There's just been a lot of stuff I've been trying to catch up on. So hopefully I'll get around to watching it today. If not, I'm going to try to get around to it this weekend. But one of the revelations, she revealed a lot from what I heard, but and I've been avoiding like all the juicy tea, and because I want to actually just be in the moment of it. But she did reveal that she secretly was battling cancer, which I gagged over. I'm like, ma'am, I mean, she really now talk about somebody who know how to keep a secret and nobody be knowing stuff. This lady is immensely private, and that's what I say about a lot of you big time celebrities. If you really want to be incognito or hide what's going on with you in your personal life, there are ways of doing it. Hit up Kylie Minogue in the DM. How you be hiding your shit? Hit up Beyonce. She may not answer, but hit her up anyway. and ask her, how do you keep your teeth so close to the vest and nobody knows what's going on in your situation? Like, it's just heavily guarded, like Fort Knox. So, yeah, she said in 2021, she was diagnosed with cancer for the second time. After having a successful treatment and battle with breast cancer back in 2005. So in the new docuseries about Kylie Minogue, the pop star revealed that she had faced a cancer scare that the media covered heavily 2 decades ago. She privately faced a second diagnosis in 2021 and got through it again. She said, thankfully, I got through it again and all is well, she said in the film, according to the BBC. Hey, who knows what's around the corner, but pop music nurtures me. My passion for music is greater than ever. The 3-part docuseries Kylie is available now on Netflix. So now in May of 2005, Netflix announced that, said Netflix. Minogue announced she had been diagnosed with the early stages of breast cancer, forcing her to cancel tour dates. Hopefully all will work out fine, and I'll be back with you again soon, she said at the time. Now, later that month, news broke that she was recovering from surgery and that her doctor had deemed the operation a success. It is not known if her second bout of cancer was also breast cancer. Now, in the docuseries, Kylie Minogue said she had a hard time deciding when was the right time to talk about her second diagnosis, even as she did press for her 2023 album Tension. I don't even think she spoke about it during that era, so she kept it to herself. Because I don't feel obligated to tell the world, and I actually just couldn't at the time because I was just a shell of a person. That's what she said in the docuseries, according to the BBC. I didn't want to leave the house again at one point. The Tension single, Padam Padam, opened so many doors to me, but on the inside, I knew that cancer wasn't just a blip in my life, she continued. And I really just want to say what happened so I can let go of it. I'd sit through interviews and every opportunity I thought now's the time, but I kept it to myself. Well, it's funny how when you know, you know. And clearly the time that you felt the need to tell it was during this docuseries, because this is, in my opinion, from what I've been hearing, the most personal we've ever seen Kylie be. Whenever we see Kylie in interviews, she's always happy, chipper, Miss Happy-Go-Lucky, very energetic, very personable. And she's always seemed like the type of girl that you would just want to go hang out with, be it at a bar, a lounge, a club, down at the beach. Like, she just looks like a fun time. And a lot of times we get so caught up in stuff, we don't always ask people like her or just people in general, how are you doing? And to me, she always seems like this type of woman that she would be the strong friend. And that's why I always say, like, instead of always checking on your friends that be going through shit all the damn time and be driving you crazy with all their issues and woes, we gotta check on the strong people too. Because we spend a lot, and yes, I'm including myself in it because I consider myself the strong friend in my groups of friends. There are times when it's like, yeah, I'm absorbing, I'm taking in, I'm trying to always be the helper to other people. And then there be times I'll be going through shit, and yeah, a lot of times, I guess me being a Virgo, we don't want to be a burden. We don't like shouting our stuff at the rooftops. We always we internalize everything. We try to handle our stuff on our own. And it's just that, and when we ask for help, It's like I don't want to have to deal with the rejection. I don't, and then or the type of help that you're trying to give me. It's not like you giving me what it is that I'm asking for. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. So it's kind of like in one of those things. I know it's a big old mind fuck, but it's just the way our brains operate. Sorry, but it is. So, and then she said that in 2013, she told Rolling Stone she hoped her story of surviving cancer would offer hope to those struggling with cancer, saying, I realized in my story there was a lot of courage and from the people around me as well, my parents, my brother, my sister. I didn't know she had a brother, and the rest of my family, because we always know about Danny. Um, the rest of my family, friends, and for myself, of course. At the time, she was accepting a Courage Award at the event benefiting EIF's Women's Cancer Research Fund, saying she's very honored to be presented with the award, blah, blah, so on and so forth. So that's one aspect of it. I'm glad that she was able to work out her situation with her cancer. But sis, I was gonna say you don't have to work it out alone, but I'm sure she wasn't alone. She had her family, she had her close friends who were probably helping her out. But I'm glad to see that she's in great spirits because not only does her disco need her, but the Kylie Minogue fans needs her as well. So now, speaking of Kylie, let's get into this story regarding her in the Impossible Princess era. So I know she hasn't been able to live down the whole Impossible Princess era. One of the things I will say that I love about Kylie, and especially, the pop girlies like her, is that they swing for the fences. It's like, I'm not just going to keep giving y'all the same old Stock Aitken Waterman type tracks over and over and over again. And I think that's when Impossible Princess was born, around that time, if I'm not mistaken. That was like she was trying to get out of that whole Stock Aitken Waterman type of sound, and we live for that sound because they bore a lot of people, like Rick Astley and so many other people. I even think that didn't Divine do a song with Stock Aitken Waterman? You think you a man, but you're only a boy. You think you're a man, you are only a toy. You think you're a man, you are only can see. You're not man enough to satisfy me. Anyway, I think that was a Stock Aitken Waterman production too. But in addition to all of that, I like the fact that she took a swing for the fences. She decided to do something different, and she went and did Impossible Princess. Now I understand it was a little too indie for people to get in because they wanted those poppy, those little pop songs or whatever. And she talked about it with attitude. So shout out to, I wish I had the clip of the, because the attitude had it on their page, but I'll just read it. So after 40 years in show business, 2 Grammys and 80 million records sold, Kylie Minogue perhaps said it best in the title of her 1987 breakthrough hit, I Should Be So Lucky. Now, Kylie has hinted at a return to elements of Impossible Princess, her most controversial and fascinating era, known for its experimental sound and aesthetics. She said, I liked her energy, the star told Attitude last week, responding to the indie Kylie version of her the indie Kylie version of her, who appeared on our cover in 1997. Things from that time I like to somehow incorporate into now. The pop icon who recently confirmed, I feel like I'm about to skip that. They're about to reveal the thing about the Madonna, but we're just going to skip over that because we'll get to that in a second. The star reveals in her new Netflix documentary series Kylie Out today that she underwent treatment for the second time. Okay, we just did that with the cancer. She said that experimental, I don't think I've ever not been experimental, but to that degree, she further said while reflecting on Impossible Princess, I was going for it. Which is what I said. She swung for the fences. An Impossible Princess sequel is now perhaps not out of the question. Now, she also told about Rick Baker, who was someone who she worked very closely with during the Fever era. And I think that the Fever tour, that's why a lot of people love that Fever tour era, because Rick Baker, a homosexual who I believe worked at the Vivienne Westwood store in London, that's where they met. And she was like, he came up to her and was like, I want to work with you. I want to style you and all this other stuff. And he was very much a big collaborator and influential with her during that whole time. And so she said, we created, in regards to my Rick Baker, her creative director, she said, we created Fever together. Iconic moments I can't imagine happening any other way. And then she said regarding like meeting him in the 90s, she said, these were the days where you'd say, let's go get a coffee. And the rest, as they say, is history. I truly trundled in on my own. The folly of youth or the gumption or whatever it was, he came up to me and said how much he liked to style me. So One of the things I always loved about Kylie is that how she's always not been afraid to experiment with her sound and all other stuff, because I feel like her most underrated records, in my opinion, where she was like experimenting, but she stayed within the pocket of like pop music, whatever. I would say it would be Body Language and X. But it feels like the fans really always wanted more of like the catchier, poppier, the fun album era, which would be like Fever, Aphrodite, and Tension. Because those were like the eras where you saw like she would hit through the stratosphere. She was always taking like experiments, and she was always experimenting in the eras of like Body Language and X, which I definitely love those albums. I like those albums more. I like her more popular stuff, and I think it's because like just swinging for the fences and trying something different. I always like when artists do that versus doing a safer. Oh, I just got to put out a record that's just going to satisfy the masses and just be fun, and I just go up there and just make a whole lot of money on these tours or whatever the case is, and I get all the awards. So I definitely feel like she could revisit the Impossible Princess, Indie Kylie era, if she wants to incorporate that and like kind of juxtapose it with the more current music she's doing, but just take experiments how like the songwriting approach, the way she sings the songs, and even on the production. So I definitely feel she could do that. Or, as she said before, she has a 40th anniversary tour that she's going to kick off in 2027 to commemorate the 40 years she's been a pop star. Because her career kicked off in 1987. So that's 40 years. That's the perfect time to do a tour a la similar to Madonna. And that's the approach that I feel like she should take. And then she can bring in those Impossible Princess deep cuts. Do like one little Indie Kylie segment and just remix the songs. Kind of like how Lady Gaga reworked a lot of the Mayhem songs for that Mayhem Requiem thing that she just did for Apple. So there's always ways that you can work around being very creative in regards of the type of music and stuff that you do. Now, last but certainly not least, since we already talked about Madonna and using it as a reference, let's get into her and Miss Kylie Minogue. Because Madonna and Kylie, there's been a rumor that's been floating around online that Madonna and Kylie have collaborated on a song together for Confessions 2. From what I'm hearing, based off of some of the rumors of people who actually heard the record, they said that her voice sounds very familiar and some of the hints. Some people believe that it might be Shakira that's actually got a duet with Madonna on the record. We'll just have to see when it comes out. But in the meantime, according to Kylie, Kylie says that she is not, unfortunately, have a song with the Queen of Pop on the upcoming album. So, speaking to the Los Angeles Times about her new Netflix documentary, she said, "That's a random thing. There was a rumor I was on her album, but I'm not. I'm excited to hear it all." She did confirm that she is making new music and basically talked about the new song called Light Up that lives perfectly within the documentary. And she said it's not a padam, but it's got a lot of heart. Well, look, I hate the fact that she had to say it like that, because now it's like this expectation that, oh, I have to give y'all like that big hit. It's like, no, it's just a song that I did that fits within the context of the Netflix docuseries. Whether or not it charts, that's whatever. But yeah, it's not gonna be like Padam, and I don't expect everything to be Padam. Like, I've been following her career long before she did Padam. I told you, I've been following Kylie since the Stock Aitken Waterman days. So you know how we homosexuals do. And the fact of the matter, speaking of which, one of the things I didn't like and I was hearing about was the fact that her team lied to her and said she didn't have an American audience, that she didn't have a large amount of American fans. And it's like, whoever told you that, I hope they're all unemployed, because Madonna, Kylie has a huge fan base here. One of the things I regret in this whole situation is that I took a certain somebody who y'all know that I used to do a podcast with to that show to see Kylie's on the For Me For You tour. Bought the ticket and everything. We both went. Didn't seem like he appreciated it. That was another reason that he and I are no longer, but y'all know who it is. I can put it in the chat. Those who know, the deep dive shade with the beefs that I've had with certain other conglomerates. But what I should have did was took my friend DJ Tennessee, because if anybody's a bigger fan of Kylie, and who introduced me to Kylie, actually, it was him. I should have took my friend the other DJ, the friend that I have, DJ Tennessee. That's who I should have took. But I haven't heard the song yet. I know that it's online or whatever the case is. I would like to hear it, but I haven't heard it yet. So I want to see what else does she have to say. Well, she's talking about like the behind the scenes of the song and what was the inspiration. But and then it said that year prior, Minogue joked about the overwhelming power she and Madonna would have if they were to share a stage together. She's going on tour. I don't have Madonna's number, but if I was in town and she was in town, it would be amazing. She told 1035 KTU. The building would probably fall down. We need to send out warnings. I mean, that is true. So, and this is when they're talking about in 2024, they appeared together at the Kia Forum in LA during her celebration tour, and where they performed duets of Can't Get You Out of My Head and I Will Survive for International Women's Day. But look, before any one of y'all kick the bucket or before we leave this earth, can y'all please do a song together? Like, I get it's cute or whatever that Madonna wants to do a collaboration with Sabrina and pass the torch, and you try passing that off to Britney, and Britney mind went bad. So we know you try to pass on the torch to these young girls, but we want the queen of pop and the princess of pop, because it ain't Britney no more. Britney retired. So Kylie came up in the 80s, shortly after Madonna. Because Madonna came out early 80s. Kylie came out in late 80s. So I'm not saying you need to pass the torch up, because y'all kind of got similarities in y'all stage presence and type of the music that y'all do, which are vastly different. Like, Kylie is more camp with her stuff and doesn't take herself too seriously. Madonna's like that blue collar, hardcore, like real artist. Like, there's a juxtaposition of like artistry, like she incorporates art into a lot of the pop stuff and bringing a lot of the underground things that she's inspired by and bringing it into the mainstream. So it's like watching visual art, because she's like in that way. She's a pop star, but also a visual artist. And we would love to have y'all do a song together, or I would even say a joint tour, but that's going to be too much. It had to be a festival, because between the both of y'all got too many damn songs. So, yeah. So I guess maybe they can give us like a little Pride special, like y'all two come together and do Pride somewhere. They definitely blow the roof. The gays will go ape shit. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding, Kylie beating her cancer a second time? What her thoughts were on the Impossible Princess in the Kylie era, and the fact that, yes, we're not getting a collab between the Queen of Pop and the international princess of pop. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. So say, wait, what is the next story? Okay, I got it. Hold on to your little. I was gonna watch the first episode while on the elliptical machine, but then I wasn't in the mood. Well, some of the things is like, you gotta get in the mood for certain things. I'm that way too. Like, I really have to be in the mood to watch certain shows or whatever. So hopefully I'll be in the mood for it tonight. He said the track is amazing. I'll check it out. Sailor Mermaid's in the building. You're not man enough to satisfy me. You know that song. Spin Me Around, Bananarama cover of Venus is yeah, they all have that signature. Stocking Waterman had that signature sound. I Should Be So Lucky is one of her better songs from her first 4-album run. It may not be the most electronic dance heavy, but there's some girly bops. Well, here's the thing. A lot of the fans love that song. So whenever she gets up there, in my imagination, there is no negation. I dream about you all the time. When she get up there and start doing all of that, everybody knows what time it is. What kills me is Impossible Princess should have been a big hit, especially at that time, because Bjork and Radiohead's albums at that time were widely praised. Well, I'm wondering if was it label sabotage, or the fact that people just didn't want to hear that coming from her? Because, well, you did kind of say that. You said, but I guess because it was Kylie was a problem. It's like, it probably was, right message, wrong messenger. So it's like, yeah, you want to do you want to be artistically creative. But at that time, people weren't even looking at, oh yeah, she was getting called a singing budgie. So when you're out here just singing your little pop songs or whatever, and now you want to go all artsy fartsy, like, what are you trying to, like, no, we're not accepting that from you. This woman is incredibly lucky to beat cancer. I know, because that's like crazy that you had it twice. And then, and 9 times out of 10, it's like, yeah, if you get cancer, there's a slight chance that it will, once it's in remission, that down the road it will come back. German, bold, italic. I do love that song. What was that? The first time I heard that song was when she played it. Wasn't that during the Fever tour? German, bold, italic should have plopped into Impossible Princess, another one of her better tracks. Who you had the shade with? I've been quiet. I'm surprised that Robert didn't put it in the damn chat. Their last name is initials is CD. You said I wouldn't say she has a huge fan base, but it's sizable. If she was huge over here, we wouldn't be considered a 2-hit. Well, yeah. Well, I just think that in America in general, y'all really don't value artists and music and the creative aspect. So, while we know that those of us who know Kylie know her from her many hits, and when she did her For Me For You tour, she definitely, I will say, I guess you could say that, yeah, she had a sizable fan base. She has a pretty good fan base over here, but Cleveland's in the building, driving now, heading to the gym. Like you said, Madonna need to fucking collab already, no shade. That Give You Love or whatever that shit with big head Sabrina should have been Without Madonna, do you think the mainstream would have known about underground genres like trip hop? Because growing up, no one I knew what this genre was until like years later, thanks to the internet. I would think so. I mean, it's hard to say because for me, before Madonna even started getting into the whole Veronica Electronica era with Ray of Light, I was already listening to a lot of artists like trip hop and drum bass. I was already listening to people like Massive Attack and Tricky and Goldie and Bjork and Underworld, Prodigy before she signed them. So I was already listening to those type of groups. Faithless. I was listening to all of that before she jumped on, kind of started dabbling in that. So it's hard for me to even try to see it on the other side because I was already in it. And I guess that was for me being a club kid and a raver and all that other stuff. I was already familiar with a lot of that type of music. So it would be it is kind of interesting, but I'll take your word for it because you said that growing up, no one I knew what this genre was until like years later. And I think like, yeah, now you see a lot of kids rediscovering this stuff because of the internet. America like artists that are melancholy and extremely dark, and that's not Kylie. Yeah, nobody likes happy. Nobody likes like fun. Everybody got to be depressed. They want to blow their brains out, and some of them actually do it or hang themselves. See ya. He says she has 19 number one dance hits. Fuck the Hot 100. She's the Australian artist with the most number one hits, establishing herself at the club scene. Was why she stayed. She's a club hit in the U.S. But the song is cute, but I guess it made sense because Sabrina was doing Coachella. And I guess it was her way of introducing Madonna's new music because they have a collab together. Not a pop act because the music was mainstream in clubs, just a certain act in 1996 made sure Billboard and iHeart controlled radio. Exactly, because I didn't get into Bjork until 2009, but I was 13. Not 13 in 2009. How old was I in 2000? I was like, how old was I in 2009? Child, not 19. I mean, 13. But yeah. I feel like it takes the internet for people to get reintroduced to stuff. So, but Madonna did help because she was like one of these A-list celebrities at the time. Her listening to a lot of what was trending in the clubs and what a lot of the cool kids were listening to. Her bringing that sound over here because nobody was doing what she was doing at the time. Everybody else, it was all about like at the time when she did Ray of Light, it was like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Britney Spears, like that type of sound, bubblegum pop music. And she was out here doing electronic music from like the nightclub scene. So, but more of that, I need to be taken seriously because now I'm a little older. I can't be out here doing the little teeny bopper songs. All right, y'all. So now let's get into this story regarding speaking of Madonna. Let's talk about this. So Ryan Murphy has been started quite the debate online when he recently stated that he feels Madonna is the most important artist in the last 50 years and feels like the person that comes closest to what Madonna is giving is Taylor Swift. And of course, with all this being said, people was in their feelings. There were some people that, of course, you're going to say it because they white. You ain't say nobody else. But I got my thoughts on this, so let's get into it. So Ryan Murphy may have, shout out to that Grape Juice for actually bringing this to my attention. So I was like, let me just bring that over here for y'all, and then we could just debate it. So Ryan Murphy may have created some of modern history's most celebrated shows, like Nip Tuck, American Horror Story, Monster, Feud, what was that? The recent show that's kind of The Beauty. He had that show too. The Emmy, Tony, and Grammy Award-winning writer, director, and TV producer has reignited a feud between some of entertainment industry's biggest fan bases for his belief that Queen of Pop Madonna's reign extends across all genres of music. Well, she has dabbled in every genre of music, so yes. Much like Beyonce fans, also known as the Beehive, who cried foul at her omission from New York Times' recent 30 Greatest Living Songwriters tally, Madge fans echoed the sentiment on at her name being left off the list. Among those making headlines for the dissension is Murphy, who took to Instagram to voice his disapproval, saying, quote, Madonna is the most important artist of the last 50 years. And we should say alive. We ain't talking about, some people was bringing up Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson been dead for almost 20 fucking years. What are y'all talking about? Yes, when you get up there and y'all went and watched the movie and you got the music and stuff going on Spotify and all other stuff, yes, it's reigniting the nostalgia within you. However, the cultural significance, we got to talk about, like, I guess they got to be specific because some of y'all just be acting real stupid on purpose. We'll just say in the last 50 years, who's actually living and breathing. No one comes close to cultural impact, he said cultural import, other than Taylor Swift and Paul McCartney. Now, I got thoughts on that one. Both of whom are truly incredible artists for the ages. This is what he shared via a lengthy comment on the Madonna Literal fan page. The hate Madonna has received and survived, it's beyond comprehension. There is no one in my lifetime who has meant more to me or had more of an impact on art, fashion, music, all of it than Madonna. You have to also realize that Ryan Murphy is a man of a certain age, and when no one of Ryan Murphy's age, and even my age, because I was a kid when Madonna came out and I grew up with that. So we never saw an artist of her caliber doing what she was doing at the time that she was doing it, especially when she was one of the rare artists. And yeah, a lot of the older gays have had their divas. You have your Lizas and your Judy Garlands and your this and your that and all these other, and your Diana Rosses or whatever. But none of them was out there giving what Madonna was giving, where she was standing up and fighting the real enemy. I know I took that from Sinead O'Connor, but she was out there fighting the real enemy, which was a lot of people who were coming at the homosexual community, particularly Reagan, and his stance on looking down on people with AIDS. But of course, when he was having his ailments, all of a sudden they want to look into all the research and stuff to help him live. But it's like, fuck y'all. I don't give a damn about y'all over there. What we got going over here is more important because we're not affected. Her, speaking out against gay rights and AIDS and all the things that was going on with that when it wasn't popular to do so, and her losing out on deals because she spoke out on certain things politically. And the fact that for a lot of gay men of a certain age, we felt that she made it okay for us to be who we were at a time where we were looked down upon and treated like shit and told we're abomination, we're going to hell, and all these other things. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people look to Madonna, and a lot of the fact that she is very opinionated in a lot of things. And they always want you to just shut up and sing. Like Jack Osborne, who run around here telling people that they need to keep their political beliefs to themselves. But if he actually stopped spending up his father's goddamn money and listened to his songs, like War Pigs and a bunch of others, he'd realize that his father was very political. So you telling him, if he was alive, you tell him to shut up and sing too? So now, as his statement started making its rounds and getting mixed reactions across social media, he weighed in again to double down on his stance, saying, I stand behind this 100%. How can you not include Madonna on this list? It's insane not to. And my deeper question is, why are other artists who Madonna paved the way for not saying this? So many of them walked down paths Madonna paved alone. And that's a fact. And of course, you're going to have people saying, like, well, what paths did she pave? You see them extravagant concerts y'all be going to, and y'all be seeing that crazy stage and all the crazy dancers and 3-part acts and all the other shit. Who was doing that before Madonna? I'll wait. Who was giving y'all a full Broadway spectacle when you would go to a massive concert where you had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and all these different things that was going on in the show? Wasn't nobody before her doing that. Also, her work ethic is unlike any other that we've seen. Even when she was well into her 50s and probably during the Madam X tour when she had all them ailments in her knee and her hip, she still was out here trying to compete and dance about as hard as them dancers a quarter her age. So I agree with him on the Madonna part, because even today, when you look at a lot of artists, when you look at the Ariana Grandes and you look at the Sabrina Carpenters and you look at some of the other girls that came down, Pink and Britney and Christina and all these other girls, they always talk about how they looked up to Madonna and how they inspired her and what her tenacity and everything that she was doing, and inspired them to do what they were doing and incorporate a lot of what she was doing into her shows. That's the part that we're talking about with the cultural impact. Now, as far as Taylor Swift go, you done lost your damn mind with that one, because I'm going to point out that, to me, the person, if we're going to talk about cultural impact and who comes close to what Madonna's doing, I would incorporate Beyonce in that. To me, Beyonce is the one who gives more of that aspect of the music. Tay, wait, hold on. I gotta read y'all literally what I wrote, because I wrote a whole thesis. So I should probably just read y'all about overall thoughts instead of me getting all caught up in it. But anyway, let me finish this story and then I'm gonna read y'all what I wrote. And they said, and while the debate ignited from this, his contemporary rages on, Madonna Taylor nor New York Times has weighed in on the hoopla yet. Ryan's high praise of Madge follows similar adulation delivered by Hall & Oates legend Daryl Hall, who claimed modern pop music wouldn't exist without her. And people really don't give her flowers in regards of like how she is very hands-on in regards to the music production of her songs. Her songwriting, like how she comes prepared, where she got that. If you see her with that little notebook, you already know it's business. She got all her thoughts and everything written down up in there, and she's very hands-on with the lyrics and things. So Madonna is very much a curator of a lot of what she does, and not just an orchestrator of putting things together from other people's ideas. She has strong viewpoints and ideas on what she wants to do and how she wants creatively her tours to look. She's very hands-on with that too. And not that she just sits back and like, give me a bunch of ideas. I don't like that one. Don't like that one. She's not a window shopper. She's not Rihanna. Rihanna's a window shopper, and I love Rihanna, but let's be clear. Rihanna goes up in there, and y'all give her the song she gonna sing, and she sings them. And y'all give them, and all that other stuff. But when it comes to Madonna, she's very hands-on. But here's what I wrote in the whole thing. So I said, I have agreed with Ryan on this debate. I do agree that no other artist in my lifetime has had the cultural impact that Madonna has, and she paved the way for how young women find power in their sexuality and womanhood. She also reinvented the live pop show, bringing a three-pop act, Broadway theatrics, and visual technology to the forefront. Madonna is not some woman who just struts around the stage in a leotard and ripped stockings, patting her puss for 2 hours for attention. Her music, her live shows, her stage presence all have substance. No one also has her insane work ethic. We have seen time and time again how hard she works, and her tenacity and energy on the stage puts people a quarter her age to shame. I also get Paul McCartney being included, but Taylor Swift, yes, she has impact from a business and financial standpoint, but I get nothing cultural from Taylor, especially them elementary school lyrics she still incorporates in her music at 35. So now, quiet as it's kept, Beyonce has more of a cultural impact when it comes close to Madonna in regards to cultural importance. But I believe because Taylor has a chokehold on a majority white female audience, she gets Ryan's seal of approval. Other than that, he is absolutely correct about Madonna. So, um, yeah, I think that's all I got to say on that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with Ryan Murphy's statement in regards to the fact that, yeah, they did left Madonna off that whole songwriting situation, the fact that a lot of people still don't take her seriously. I mean, I don't know what it is about these people, why they don't take Madonna seriously. Maybe because she's not running around here like Mariah Carey at every second. I'm a songwriter, I'm a songwriter, I'm a songwriter, I'm a songwriter, like a fucking parrot. It's like, bitch, we know you write your shit. You tell us every damn chance you get. So, maybe that's the reason why. But a lot of people who, if you're a creator, you don't need to brag about your accolades. And to me, she just gives me like, she don't need to be out here bragging and boasting and all this other mess. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. In regards to the Madonna part, I agree with Paul McCartney. I understand he's an icon. He's somebody who has surpassed the Beatles and everything, and has done music on his own and had his own successes as a solo act. As far as the Taylor Swift goes, yes, she is able. Like, she puts out 89,000 bundles of the same goddamn song. Y'all buy it. So she definitely has a loyal fan base. But as far as like cultural impact, nothing I get from her has spells cultural impact. I mean, writing a whole bunch of songs about men you've been in relationships with, that's just telling their business from your point of view. That's not culturally impacting anybody except spilling somebody else's tea for your financial gain. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I was like, why can't I find, hold on, because I'm like looking for my next topic. Well, I feel like I lost it. I gotta refresh. And then I'll get to your comments. Okay, I found it. I did have to refresh it. You know, sometimes this damn thing get on my nerves. All right, y'all. I knew this one was gonna blow up and have a whole bunch of people in the comments. Because you know, we love doing our little pop diva debates over here. That gets the chat jumping. Why do I have to pay to see you and Stefan have a Madonna Kiki session? Madonna non-white gay fan base deserves representation too. You got to pay to see me and Stefan have a Madonna Kiki session. Wait, what happened? What? I was like, what did I miss? You said she has a non-white gay fan representation. Kidding, but you guys are minor because Ryan Murphy Backlash came for people of color. I feel like, yeah, that a lot of it did come from her, from them. But I'm like, cultural impact. Who y'all talking about? Um, who y'all? I mean, I said Beyonce comes close. He was right about the Madonna part, but when he went and incorporated Taylor Swift in that, I had a side eye on him. I said, there you go. You start out good, and that's like a lot of his shows. You start out on the right track. By episode 3, it's like, the fuck was you thinking when you put this mess together? Now I'm out. Hence this next comment. The beauty was not it. Because I didn't even finish it. And it's gotten to the point I just don't finish Ryan Murphy shows anymore. Because it starts out on the right foot, and I love me some Anthony Ramos, but I had to check out. The only thing Taylor has done compared to Madonna is sell. Taylor isn't a tastemaker. She isn't as impactful as a Madonna or a fucking Beatle. What the hell? So the fucking Beatle. He said the closest would be exactly. That's what I said. The closest I see that pretty much embodies all of what Madonna does, not only just in sales and loyal fandom, but cultural impact would be Beyonce. And I've started to, and I felt like, even though she's had given us to before, but I really saw it during the Renaissance era. I was like, we know she got gay fans, but they showed up and showed out during that Renaissance era. Now more than ever before. Is that she never pushed boundaries. She could never pull an American Life. And she's never really gotten sort of political, because Madonna has done things where she's had to sacrifice a lot and her career was on the line based off of things she's done. It's like, especially American Life is the perfect example. When she put that video out, the death threats and stuff that she was getting, and had to go put out this version of her singing behind in front of a green screen with a bunch of flags behind her, because the video was so controversial. But especially the runway scene and the grenade with George W. Bush, like on the limbs all over the state, like it's just that whole situation alone. And she was speaking out against the Iraq War, which now, 2 decades later, we're in a conversation about how they were right about that this Iraq war was an unnecessary thing we got ourselves into. But now history's repeating itself, because we got another person who thought that we found another person dumber than George W. Bush. Because we used to make fun of George W. Bush back in the day, calling him an idiot. But who knew we'd find somebody stupider than him to get us in another war, this time with Iran. So history is repeating itself. Why is the TV producer trying to chime in and argue about his opinion on music? If you don't go to work on the story, when they not finished with the season yet, and you said maybe he had to take a break from coming up with some stupid ass ridiculous storyline. And you said, and this is me as a 26-year-old that grew up through Beyonce and Britney's prime, and when Taylor popped up, it was a surprise, but she still wasn't suppressing the impact of Single Lady. Well, look, and that's why people gagged, particularly Kanye, when she won for her song over Single Ladies. And he got up on that stage and was like, and said what he said, and people thought he was being a dick. Now, the way he went about it was wrong, but we saw what y'all was doing MTV. Y'all were trying to play in our face and give credence to mediocrity. But I feel like if Kanye didn't get his dumb ass up there with all that Hennessy up in it, but now we got that old bald-headed, golf head shaped bitch, Amber Rose, trying to talk about she may have encouraged Kanye to get up there and do what he did to Taylor Swift. She said that not too long ago. I'm not buying it, but whatever. Do you, sis? Whatever gets you an extra 15 minutes. But he went and was like, so doing that, I feel like if he didn't do that, then I don't think that Taylor's career will be where it is today, because I feel like him doing that drew attention to her and made people rally around her and was, he's such an asshole. How can he do this to this poor little, now we look back and like, this poor white girl. I don't look at it back then. I was like, okay, now you're being an asshole. I mean, I thought it was entertaining, but at the same time, I was like, nah, that was just unnecessary what he did. But now it's like this black man bullying this poor little white girl, and she was able to game the system in that way. She was able to benefit from it, so it worked in her favor. Anyway, let's get back into the comments. Ronald Reagan is one papa who shouldn't preach. Madonna, the same could be said about MAGA these days. Also, she spoke out against it because Ronald Reagan was an idiot. Look, if it wasn't for Reaganomics, our economy wouldn't be what it is today. The fact that you got these, even back in the 80s, these oligarchs and these people on the stock market and stuff doing what they doing to the country and the economy and benefiting wholeheartedly and gambling and all this other mess, and now they doing this shit now. So it's definitely very random. He said, now, I don't understand why folks ignore the hell out of Madonna when it comes to the technicality of making music. Her ear for a hit is wild and uncanny. Yeah, they love playing in her face because it might be sexism. Ryan worked with Madonna on Glee and the Next Best Thing film. Madonna was one of the first people to work with him when he was still make it or break it in the industry. Well, I know. Well, I understand there's a bias there too. So, Madonna sheds her skin every era. No bitch can hold a candle to her because, unlike Taylor and Mariah, she doesn't cry or beg to be taken seriously because she wants her music to speak for itself. But the other girls beg to be taken seriously. Please like my music. You see how you ain't like that line that I wrote in that song? The only thing Bey isn't a behemoth at in sales is in sales. And the lady doesn't promote. The fact that she's this culturally relevant and has promoted since 4 is nuts. Or you said hasn't promoted. Yeah, because I guess she feels like, you know what? I don't need to. Beyonce makes an announcement about a new album and everybody go crazy and everybody has to buy it. And she creates these curated moments that makes you feel like you got a case of FOMO. And then you got to go out and pretty much buy what you're going to buy. And buy the bundles and get the tickets for the tour and all the other stuff. I'm saying this as a fan. Madonna isn't that prolific of a songwriter to be on the New York Times list. Her lyricism is not the first or even second thing that comes to mind. So what? You don't like the lyrics? I'm drinking a soy latte. It goes through my bate and you know I'm satisfied. You don't think that's good lyrics there? I'm doing a double shot. It goes through my body, and you know I'm satisfied. I drive a Mini Cooper, and I feel a super duper. You're a manny. You're the jammy. I'm a trooper, and you know I'm satisfied. I do yoga and Pilates, and the room is full of hotties, and I'm checking out the bodies, and you know I'm satisfied. You know that's not good lyricism to you. Okay, you know I'm being an ass right now. Madonna got a lot of help from Black producers. She mirrored the house music performers. There was that too. He said, "Read the best window shopper to ever exist, though. Hits all over the place." Exactly. Like I said, she a window shopper. I like that song. I want that song. I like that song. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. As long as they, because you had to prove to them people that I know y'all didn't see it for her. Y'all saw it for Tierra Marie. You see what happened with that? It was like, keep in mind, this is the woman who wrote Live to Tell in one sitting and is the sole writer of Like a Prayer. Prince never worked with another big star at the time beside Madonna. So yeah, there's some songs where it's like, okay, the lyrics is cringe, but yeah, Madonna does have like some songs where she goes in. That's like when she's about to get. That's like when she's in the pocket of wanting to get deeply personal. I think it's like when her best stuff comes out. It's interesting to see how different generations view pop music. If you were to ask someone my age who the queen of pop is, who they going I knew they was gonna probably say Gaga. They said they'll probably say Taylor Bay or Gaga. Well, people will always say the person of their time. It's kind of like when I was growing up, you would look at the diva. Who do you consider who was the queen of pop at the time? Like when I was growing up, it would be either, Madonna or Janet Jackson or those sort of artists. When you're thinking about if you came up in like the 2000s, you're going to look at someone like maybe a Beyonce, a Pink, a Britney, those girls. When you look at the 2010s, yeah, like you said, you're going to go Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, that sort of thing. And Beyonce was still in the pocket at that time. So, I would say still Beyonce on the list. But yeah, same thing. Madonna announces the tour in her true fashion in 90 and 102 days. She's ready. She literally from announcing the tour in 3.5 months, she's ready to tour the world for others. Wait, are you talking about now or are you talking about just in general? Well, because Madonna's rehearsing nonstop. That's why she's ready so damn quick. Barbara Streisand, Liza Minnelli, Cher, Madonna, Liberace, Barry Manilow, and Beyonce are loved by the Christopher Street. Come on, Christopher Street homosexuals. Obviously, there are people my age that know Madonna and are aware of her impact, but a generation that grew up in the 2010s and 2020s well, yeah, as I said, they'll be picking their people because that's who they relate to. Said Madonna doesn't have help. You tried because even Babyface hates the narrative that Madonna needs help. he wants to be taken off the narrative saying Take a Bow was all hers. That's because they weren't alive when her prime, but it seems King of Pop Michael Jackson, but I guess Queen isn't exclusively hers. What was Tupac, who always thought he was, wait, what? You trying to say Tupac was a closet homosexual? Let's see, Chris, what would you do with a 1987 Madonna? Child, I can't remember what Madonna was doing in 1987. Was she singing Lies La Bonita? Or no, now she be singing Lies La Boniva. But back then, when she singing Bonita, it says, so I guess Queen of Pop is generational. I guess it's generational to whoever there is their queen at the time. There are some people who consider Lady Gaga the Queen of Pop. Now, I don't agree with it. Because I'm like, ma'am, you only jumped back into the dance music situation when it was convenient. But you was all doing all these other things that was either hit or miss. And yeah, everybody's career has their ebbs and flows, but yours is more ebb than flow. So there are these isms. But I guess didn't somebody coin Michael Jackson the King of Pop and it's just been with him ever since? I just don't think there's been a male artist that has been able to have the cultural impact that Michael Jackson had and still has. Because even if when you watch the movie, it takes you back to that time. Like, damn, none of these artists, no matter how hard they try, you see so many of these damn male artists, like the Chris Browns, the Ushers, even Jason Derulo, mid-ass with his music. They take a lot of those inspirations from the Michael Jackson, but they never had that thing, that X factor that Michael had, where it's just like, yeah, Michael Jackson watched James Brown. He watched a bunch of other people and took inspiration from them with his music, or his dance style and his performance style. But he made it his own. He put his own little stank on it. And to me, it just seemed like I just have yet to see a male performer have that same thing, that spark, that vibe that Michael Jackson had. Maybe it is true that it's a once in a generation thing. The thing about the newer generation is we are aware of Madonna. The most of us were exposed to Madge during her hard candy era, but Madonna is omnipresent, so her title is intact based on that alone. That's a generation before y'all would argue the Queen of Pop is Cher. I don't even look at, I don't. Cher and Diana Ross, I don't even look at them as the Queen of Pop. People wasn't really checking Cher's music like that. She had a couple of good hits or whatever, but her music career was not popping in that way. And then at one point, she focused more on acting. Child, don't even get me started on Diana Ross. Y'all know how I be having my little comments about that, especially during, her little canoodlation with Michael. I mean, Diana has some songs too, but I don't know. Maybe she was before my time, so I wasn't really checking for her like that. That's more like my parents' era. Oh well, there's a certain what do you call it? Men, people of a certain age with Judy Garland. I guess you could probably say that too, because I did hear that there is a historical thing behind Judy Garland. So I will give Judy that. Because I don't want the older gays to come beat my ass verbally through this show if they happen to catch what I'm saying. You said the shot of the model walking the runway in the American Life video with the blown off leg shows how separated Americans truly are to reality. Taylor could never do this. Her fans will be grossed out. And not only that, she don't want to deal with the controversy of, the media coming at her based off of her having an opinion. Because there have been large criticisms over the fact that Taylor doesn't get political or denounce certain things when it came to the Trump administration coming at Taylor Swift and all this other stuff. It would just seem more or less like a bullying tactic. But it's like, no, she's never really taken like an artistic risk. She's kind of gotten in her pop girl bag where she gets on stage and does her little shimmy while her backup dancers and gives you a full-on fun show. But as far as like taking artistic risks that will be remembered in the zeitgeist, no, she's never really done that. Yeah, but Diana, Cher, or Judy do not have the body of work, metrics, or longevity on top. Well, yeah, exactly. There's that. Sometimes I can't be finding the words. That's why I love when y'all be opinion debate. Cher went to acting in the 80s. So many evidence to show that she abandoned music. I would feel embarrassed. Yeah, she kind of just, it feels like she only jumps into music and she kind of looks at music as more like a hobby rather than something she takes seriously. Whereas music has always been at the forefront of what Madonna does. Yeah, she would do the occasional acting thing, but music was always like her top priority. And same thing with Beyonce. Beyonce benefits a lot from celebrity obsession and the hype cycle. Hopefully, because you talking about because of the whole beehive. Yeah, look, when you said could that be not said for all the girls? Everybody's got their little stand base. Child, the minute we start calling out Taylor for her variance padding, the numbers, then we can critique Beyonce for benefiting from celebrity obsession. They're all guilty of it. Like you said, Ree had hits from the very beginning and kept making them. Tierra Marie couldn't keep up. Well, I will say that maybe that first album, not necessarily, it wasn't until Good Girl Gone Bad was when Rihanna's career, you know, blew out the stratosphere. Beyonce benefits from celebrity obsession and hype because she doesn't promote her albums like all the other girls. If you're not up to date on pop culture, I don't know if someone would know or care about Beyonce. And not only that, but it was just like, I think, well, Beyonce has her set of fans. As far as like trying to come for a new generation, I don't know if she's interested in even trying to curate them. But yeah, she releases music. She's got her set of fans that's going to come out and listen to her stuff. And I guess maybe if there's a younger generation that get up on the YouTube and decides to make little videos where they're doing deep dives on her music videos or her songs or whatever, then that'll be a way to introduce to the new audience, similar to like with Madonna, where there's a lot of younger Gen Zers, and I think maybe even some Gen Alpha, who have been doing like deep dives into Madonna's music and doing reaction videos and all that other stuff on her concerts, her songs, her albums. Like I just saw Steven and Stereo was going through her erotica era. I'm like, child, you don't know what you in for with that record. You said a lot of the hype with self-titled was from the surprise drop. Lemonade benefited a lot. And I like the whole visual album, surprise album thing. I like that whole vibe. But then she just dropped that all together and stopped doing it. Now I think that Beyonce's getting people pissed because they'll say it, but they won't say it, is the fact that they feel like everything now that she does is a money grab. It's not even like you really doing it because of the fans, whatever. Now it's like, I want your money. Kind of like what Harry Styles is doing with this current era, where it feels like it's just a money grab. Yes, she benefits from celebs obsession, but the album being put out and hyped up normally live up to it. Meanwhile, a mediocre album like The Life of a Showgirl, and that album was mediocre, gets 8 variants, and I'm supposed to be excited. Madonna was a product of the white music machine. They promoted a mediocre talent white woman who was I'm going to disagree with you on that. It's like a mediocre white woman. Now, I'm seeing mediocre white women get platformed. She ain't one of them. Like you said, Gaga is only influential through fashion. I will die on that hill, but musically, she has never evolved past Born This Way. And then she had the jazz record and that garbage called. Funny enough, look, we've been preaching that to the choir on this show. It's like, yeah, after Born This Way, it just seemed like her creativity kind of dried up and it was like nowhere else to go. But I do feel like, yeah, the fashions overshadowed the music. And I think she started recognizing that at one point when it started getting a little ridiculous. And then she tried to dial it back and then remind her, like, yeah, you can sing. Nobody ever denied that you could sing. Nobody ever discounted the fact that you could sing. We know you can sing. I've heard you sing many a times, especially when I worked at Mayhem Ball. She sings down. Nobody's denying that. But there's got to be some substance with the music that you're making. Oh, because why? So you said child. Don't get me started on Ross. He said, all right, Dinah had a crazy ass run, even with the whole Motown controversy. And there was plenty of controversy with her. Tina Turner, the Queen of Rock. But no one's going to say, oh, no, I'll be saying that. First of all, Tina was the queen of rock and roll. But people don't want to be giving her flowers on that. A black woman in her 40s who basically had her renaissance as a solo act, that gives me hope. Because I'm like, when people talk about, well, you too old to put out music. Who the fuck said? Like, especially if you, in this day and age, where the gatekeepers of the record industry are no longer in charge, where there's Apple Music and Spotify, if you 55 years old and you want to put out your debut album, if you got the coins and you know some producers, put that shit out. Why should life stop because your younger years, say that to Donald fast, are behind you? Madonna was the Elvis of her era. Now, we want to talk about Elvis being, his racist ass and the fact that he was a culture vulture of black music. We can get into that conversation. They was barely allowing a Beyonce at the time she was coming out, but luckily she had Jay-Z in her corner, and they said even today's pop stars couldn't do a sex book or take on the KKK the way Madonna did. They would ask for the book to be pulled, the video pulled, and quickly apologize for being offended, except for self-hatred. Production would only enhance these things. Garnering all the press without promotion for this long is impressive. Let's see how much. I don't know how long Beyonce can keep that going with the whole not promoting her music. And that's why I said no. This whole thing of saying like Madonna basically stole from the ballroom community, when in fact the ballroom community has always applauded Madonna for her contribution to ballroom and bringing it into the mainstream. It's incorrect when people say that, because it's like she didn't just go and be like, you know what? Oh, there's a ballroom situation. I'm gonna just go and take it and start voguing and not give credit. Unlike a lot of people out here, like the Katy Perrys and the Gwen Stefanis, who sit up out here and culturally appropriate, but don't really be given a true appreciation to the cultures that they take from, because it looks cute and fashionable. Madonna has gone to many a ball, and the ballroom girls live for her. She's always incorporated a sense of ballroom in her music and her work. And even on her shows, the Celebration tour, she had a whole Vogue down situation. I hated only the tens and the chop thing, but she had a whole voguing segment. So the real ballroom girls are not out here shading Madonna, unlike some of these other people that come out here and be nogging, which we know Naomi, who y'all saw yesterday that Lil Mama tried to read. Bow Wow in the wig tried to read Naomi down that old clip of America's Best Dance Crew. She actually gives homage and pays homage to that community. She always has been that way with a lot of people that she takes inspiration from. Yes, they are. They should be, but they always tell people to be quiet and not to look with the Lizzo shade. You said Lizzo was all about women's liberation, but she only made a fool of us. We didn't even get to the Lizzo conversation yet. You said now with this administration, well, you need to call it a regime, because it ain't a real administration. We got a wannabe mafioso running the damn country into the ground. And you said we don't have a Marilyn Manson of this generation going against organized religion and the hypocrisy. You know what? And that's why I was like, my parents, when I was a kid, I actually introduced my brother to Marilyn Manson's music. I remember I brought home my friend's CD because I wanted to make a copy of it. He had Antichrist Superstar, and that was the first time I ever heard of. So I didn't listen to Smells Like Children or the other stuff that came before. I heard Antichrist Superstar. And he went and was like, my father saw that CD and flipped. And I was like, it's a friend of mine. I'm going to take it back. So, of course, I was like listening to it ad nauseum in my little CD player. And, of course, I had to make the copy. Then I ended up having to buy it. And ever since then, I've been a Marilyn Manson fan. But, I mean, he hasn't released good music since, like, in my opinion, what was like the real last good Marilyn Manson album? Would y'all say Hollywood? I don't know because I've been trying to listen to his later stuff and I was like, no, it's not hitting. Even that recent album he came out with, I was like, no. I like when I wish he would have dabbled more into like I like the rock stuff, but give it more of an industrial vibe. I always like when they kind of went in that direction, but he never really stuck with it. I think he did at one point. I'm trying to remember the name of the album that he did. I would have to look up Marilyn Manson's albums because off the top of my head, I can't remember all of them. You can't tell Madonna, wait, you can't call Madonna Elvis when she brought the gay men on stage with her on numerous high profile events. And yeah, she definitely had a lot of, what was it? The House of Extravaganza. She brought them out on tour. Like Jose said, she gave us the platform and it's up to us with that. It's up to us do with their platform after the tour. Most of them didn't continue. Yeah, it was like, yeah, I mean, I gave you a platform to go in and show up and show out. And it's up to you after this if you want to go off and perform elsewhere or continue to perform out here. But I gave you a platform. You can't last 40 years being mediocre. And if so, give me examples. That's what I say. Nobody can. And I've always said, you can't last this long in this career and be half-assing it. That's why I'm like, Harry Styles, your days may be numbered if you're gonna keep giving your fans midness with that album and your stage stuff. Because it's like, this whole era ain't it. I was thinking about this earlier today. If she didn't lean into the Wednesday hype with Mayhem and never released Die With Us, that horrible ass song. Although I did hear her rework the song for that Mayhem Requiem video, that live show. He said Gaga would probably be a nostalgia act by now with Katy Perry. Well, yeah, she did. I think she noticed that she was kind of heading into nostalgia act territory, which is kind of like, yeah, I agree. Katy Perry is at that point, but decided to go in the past on what was hot, which was like the Fame Monster Born This Way era, and just rejudged it, as y'all say, reheated her nachos for this era. People are waking up because up to Diana, especially stealing Dorothy from Stephanie Mills because Michael Jackson was hers, not any other woman. Well, Diana was notorious for stealing a lot of shit, particularly men. The song with Bruno and Abracadabra in combination with the tour gave her more life. I agree. Because the rest of the album, I mean, some of the songs are okay. I mean, but clearly when you hear those songs, some of them do work well in a live performance. Abracadabra definitely works good as a live performance. Die With A Smile, of course, because all you need is like a damn piano. You could just sing that song. And then you have like your band people add a little thickness to it. And with Beyonce, with Gaga's vocals, she definitely sells it. And then you hear other songs like Killer works live. Zombie Boy definitely works as a live track. So she definitely knows how to sell those songs. But as far as like and one of my friends who was a Gaga fan was upset because she didn't push out enough singles. They were like, because what was the other videos that she released? I know she did Abracadabra. Was there another video? And then was there another video she did? And it was like 2 videos and that was it. Oh, and she did a horrible ass The Dead Dance song. Let me get me started on that. And now she's trying to push that song to get an Emmy nomination. I'm like, for why? That song is trash. And you said Madonna's friends were homosexual, and unfortunately, a lot of them died from AIDS in the 80s. She paid homage and respect, especially there's a segment where she does Live to Tell, and she does a segment with all the people who died of AIDS during the celebration tour. There's footage of her going into a modern ballroom and the room cheered and literally treated her like the queen mother is back. I don't think Gaga can get that appreciation from the girls. Well, at this point, you walk up in a place with gays and, they'll be excited because they got a big celebrity in the room, but she has no connection to the ballroom scene. So I don't even see why she would even bother going. Between you and Carlos Acosta, I've heard stories despite being a gay icon. The gay club scene, I've heard how they hate Gaga lied, and now it's part of her story because in the 2000s being a well, yeah, it's like those of us who were in those clubs. I'm like, sis, we didn't see you up in there. As a kid was so uncool, unlike today. But yeah, being a theater kid wasn't cool. You said The Pale Emperor by Manson is one of my favorites, which was a Southern Gothic record, but everything after that album wasn't great. I think it's like when I think Southern Gothic, you know what I think of? I think of like True Blood. That's kind of, and now thinking about that album, it kind of gave me that vibe. There was a time, I don't know what, it might have been 2, 3 years ago, where we did a whole Marilyn Manson revisit. Because I know that he's problematic because he allegedly did this stuff. First of all, he was not found guilty. So once the courts did what they did with that situation, we could all move on. The court said what it said. They tried it. The verdict is the verdict. We could all move on now. This ain't no R. Kelly type situation. So people get on my nerves with all that mess. Madonna ate off ballroom in a way that the queen of pop, that queer people could not. Well, yeah, because queer people, and this is just in general, unfortunately, a lot of stuff in our community, we have a more difficult time bringing that into the mainstream because of the powers that be, because of the gatekeepers. They don't see it for the gays. So, unfortunately, it takes a cis hetero woman, mostly, of course, a white woman, to take something that is from a marginalized community, usher it into the mainstream to give those people who wouldn't get the opportunity any other way the opportunity. So it's sad that that's the way that things have to be, but that's the way it was because of the gatekeepers in music. If it was that simple for homosexuals to bring ballroom into the mainstream, trust and believe they would have did it. I mean, Paris is Burning is a full movie where you hear a lot of these queer children of color talking about, thinking, dreaming big and wanting to, do all the things that the white people do. But of course, due to circumstance and everything, it's not allowed. Racism, homophobia, transphobia, all that plays a part. Mm-hmm. I said, hold on, because we spent a lot of time. I knew it was like when I talked about this Madonna, I knew he was gonna be here a minute with it. And you said Katie's last album wasn't that bad, but it's the fact that she keeps working with Dr. Poop. That's funny. You call him Dr. Poop, I call him Dr. Puke. Same shit, different toilet, right? But yeah, I will admit, 143, I was a lot harsh on that record. There's some bops on there. It's not a perfect record. And I do think that her collaborating with Dr. Poop, as you call him, um, definitely warrants a lot of the shade. And a lot of the tour, the tour wasn't that bad either, even though there were some moments that were cringe throughout the tour. But I guess because she don't take herself seriously, people weren't that upset by some of the stuff in there. And the record was a mess. But overall, there was some cute songs on there. It's not helpful the industry and general public wouldn't pay attention to the queer artists at the time. You need to hold fire to those who supported the talent from being seen. And you hear many of the stories where so many artists like the George Michaels and the Boy Georges and all, even though they were so flamboyant, you can clearly see they were faggots. But when a lot of those artists, even Elton John, where they all have to sit and hide who they are, and Billy Porter will tell you stories how they trying to butch him up when he was trying to come out with his his solo album and stuff back in the day. Now we at a time where you can pretty much be out and put out your own shit. Even in this current era, Adam Lambert just did a whole Q&A on his Instagram where he was talking about how he's releasing his new album independently. And it's because so he can have creative autonomy over his work. Because then it's like, we want to see that flamboyant, over the top showman and give us the versatility and stuff. But I like Adam being, loud and flamboyant and showing off his vocal prowess and the crazy, costumes and all that. So we live for all that. It's very rock and roll. But Men aren't allowed to give that. You have to give mediocrity like a Benson Boone and just flip around a goddamn stage all day like a fucking bunny rabbit. And that's supposed to be enough. But the music is a chop. Reed's cover of Vogue Eats. Did I ever hear that? I don't think I have. It's a Hot Girls Great podcast. Despite being snubbed for much of her earlier career at the Grammys, she got inducted into both the US and UK Pop Rock Hall of Fame and won an Ivan Novello Award for Sorry. I did not know that. Well, thank you for putting that in chat. Because look, I can't remember everything. I can't keep track of everything. But when y'all know stuff, throw it in the chat. Evan Rachel Wood allegedly forged the FBI letter with her ex-girlfriend. That's a bad look. I read those court documents to the death. And you weren't the only one, because there was quite a few that I know did. That was like, what you're not going to do is out here. And look, Marilyn Manson, I guess based off of his exterior, people would think that he'd be into some weird, freaky shit, and trust to believe he was, because I read his book. Like, I was such a Marilyn Manson fan, I went and bought Long Dark Road Out of Hell. I think that's the name of the book. It's been so long since I read it. I probably got it in a box somewhere. But I remember I read his biography and the weird shit that he was enduring growing up from like his weird family members and his grandfather and all other stuff. It's like, So people always assume because of like his exterior and the type of music he does and all that other mess that, he said he worships the devil and all this other mess. And the context of this was the 90s. Madonna could have lost her career. She even included gay sex, softcore, and gay stars like Joey Stefano in her sex book. Yeah, nobody was doing stuff like that. And that could have also been a career killer. I like the Katie song with Doshi, obvious sample usage, but MS Waters. Are you talking about Crystal Waters on the original was trash? It's just sad that Katie is leaning so heavy into her past work. All three of her songs going viral right now on the Clock app were released 13 to 16 years ago. If I were her, I would release a new reheated single. Is that even up to her, though, or is that Capitol Records? He said, I like Gorgeous with Kim Petras. Is that a recent song? Because I don't know. I don't think I'll listen to any of Kim's recent song. I did see that one video that she did with it's almost like a ballad in a way, mid-tempo track. Can't remember the name of it. Or is that the same song? And did she announce when she's coming out with the new album? I'd argue Boy George is really the first to be out and loud with his looks, but that thanks to the new romantics movement in the UK, which translated here. And he could hide behind the end. He even made a little, and that should have been what we caught on when he made the comment, the drag queen comment, when I think he won the American Music Award. So I'm like, well, what did anybody know about drag queens? But that was probably his way of coming out without coming out. Katie should have never branded herself as a quirky clown. Now she'll most likely never be taken seriously. Yeah, because it's cute when you first starting out and you in your 20s, but now when you pushing 40, it's like at some point you got to evolve. Like you can't be 50, 60 years old singing California Girls and wearing whipped cream bras and shooting whipped cream out your titties and it being seen as cute. Like, if anybody does camp well, it's Kylie Minogue. The type of camp that Katy Perry's doing is very like grade school. I heard Hot and Cold on the radio today on my way home. I can't remember the last time I liked the new Katy song. Never really, over 7 years ago. Adam wasn't even allowed to be sexual and admit he's into peen. That's why he went independent, because it allowed Adam to say, I hunch men. Unapologetically so. Because somebody did ask him, they were like, why are you going independent? He was like, why not? Like, I'm going independent so I can have control over my stuff and people can't tell me what to do. It's like, yes, I'm funding this album. You got to put up the money for, paying for the cover art, which Nick Knight did. You're also paying for the people that are going to be, your creative director, the people that help work on the record, the producer, the CDs, the vinyl. He even said he's putting out cassette tapes. I don't know nobody that owns a cassette. I think that was thunder. Child, it's about to rain. It might be raining. I don't know anybody that owns a cassette recorder, but if you got, I guess it's just something good to have. Need for Speed, was that the movie with old boy from, what's his name? Aaron, what's his name? The one that was in that show with Bryan Cranston, the meth show. Is that what you're talking about? CeCe Peniston was super talented and pretty. She should have been an icon. Oh, I love me some CeCe Peniston. I remember when I was growing up, and that was like all the music. They played a lot of her songs on 103.5 KTU in New York. My favorite Katy song will always be E.T., one of the greatest pop songs from that era. The production, the vocals, it still sounds great. Yeah, it does. Some of these songs do. Look, one thing I'll give Dr. Poop is that even though he's problematic, he definitely has created some timeless hits for a lot of people. Katy could really go back to folk rock and transition into something less flamboyant. But the fans, I don't know, they want the flamboyant stuff. And you can still do that, but just reinvent yourself. I think Sabrina is destined to have the same fate as Katy Perry if she keeps up with the larger-than-life theatrics at her shows to make her music interesting. Dula Peep already sort of. Yeah, to be honest, that's why I was like, when I worked Sabrina's show, I wasn't that impressed. I'm like, this shit is boring. Those songs ain't really hitting, but our fans like it. And I realize I'm not the demo, so not do a liposuction. Looks interested in making more music. Well, look, it's raining everywhere. If it's New York, well, I was gonna say, well, no, that's not. Oh, you talking about? Oh, Need for Speed. That's probably the. I was like, wait, are we talking about Need for Speed the movie? You're talking about the song. Is a Kim Petras song released? Yeah, I did. I did like. I was like, it's cute. That's probably the song I was referring to because I can't remember titles as of yet. CeCe Peniston didn't make it because the Black community was pitting her against Mary J. Blige, especially since they came out at the same time. And the difference was that CeCe was doing a mixture of music, but I really wish she would have stuck to the dance music. And I think after that, finally, what was the name of the album? Finally, I think it was, finally, We Got a Love Thing. We Got a Love Thing. I live for that song, especially when she do the, at the end, when she hits that note and they start cutting it up. Because it was like, ain't no way she doing that vocally. That was like technical stuff where they playing with her vocals. But yeah, I like that. But then she was trying to do all the ballady stuff, Inside That I Cried, and that's like cute. And that was standard what you would do when you were doing like 90s music or whatever. But I wish she would have stuck with the dance music. Because yeah, it's like her and Mary J. But she could sing Married Under the Damn Bridge. Because Mary girl, we know that you be giving your pain in the music, but them vocals. I think Dua's issue was decided to get managed by her father. Do people say Dua does too much on stage? Really? Because they all used to say she wasn't doing enough. Now she's doing too much. Her dancing has improved, but when Trevor Noah called her one of the greatest performers of Trevor Noah needed to stay off that shit because ain't no way in hell she was the greatest performer of this generation. I'm like, who paid y'all to write? You said "Rain on Me" by Gaga and Ariana Grande is it's about pee showers. Is it? He said, I haven't seen Dua's live show, but well, look, wait till it's coming out. What is it, this week? It'll be on Netflix. I haven't seen Dua's live show, but I think her performance for the Future Nostalgia was better than this last album. Well, yeah, this last album was a chop, but the performances was good. Listen to CeCe Peniston. Oh, I know that song. He Loves Me Too. I love her vocals on that. As I said, I wish she would have stuck with the she would have stuck with that era. All right, y'all. So that was a good one, but we got to get into more Madonna tea. I think we did a whole, what was this, like maybe 30 to 45 minutes of this Madonna debate. I just realized um I had so many windows open. I was like, damn, I forgot to close a lot of my windows for the past topic. So I had like 6, 7 windows open. But anyway, let's get into this mess. Cause Madonna, or sorry, Madonna, went through some shade at Charli xcx. So yeah, she finally responded because remember, Charli xcx recently said um on that new rock song, which in my opinion is a chop. I don't know how y'all out here releasing songs that's a minute and a half. Like y'all ridiculous. And look, don't get me wrong, I get it. There are some especially in pop music, I understand that there are songs that are built to be like 2.5 minutes, 3:15, 3:30. Like I get that, get in, get out. But a minute and a half, come on, that's like the length of a goddamn commercial. I could have went to the bathroom, wiped my ass, not even twice, and the song be fucking over. So I'm like, damn, I can't even get into it, and the song's over. But then, of course, you'll get people, if you feel like it's short, go back and listen to it. No, that's what the fuck y'all want. Y'all want us to sit and rerun the song over and over and over and over and over and over and over again because it helps with the damn streams. I know I'm on to y'all game. I done peeped that shit. So, do we smell a new pop feud brewing? Madonna sparked immediate speculation online after posting a cryptic Instagram caption on Wednesday morning, that'd be today, May 20th, with fans convinced the pop icon may have subtly responded to Charli xcx's recent comments about dance music. Alongside a new series of photos, Madonna wrote, "If your dance floor feels dead, maybe you're playing the wrong music." Or maybe the DJ sucks. But no, that's what I said. Now, within minutes, the comments section turned into a full-blown theory thread saying OMG ended Charli XL. Not Charli XL. One user joked while another wrote, "The Charli xcx shade, oh my." That was me trying to channel George Takei. Others quickly connected Madonna's wording to Charli's now viral words, saying, "I think the dance floor is dead, so now we're making rock music." The original line first surfaced during Charli xcx's April interview with British Vogue, where she hinted at the direction of her upcoming album while reflecting on why she wanted to move away from another fully club-oriented project. Now, according to Charli, returning immediately to straightforward dance music would have felt really hard, really sad. That conversation only intensified after the release of Rock Music on May 8th. Despite its title, the single did not fully abandon Charli's electronic roots. Instead, the A.G. Cook and Finn Keen produced track fused abrasive hyperpop production, fragmented synths, and satirical songwriting into one of the most polarizing releases of her career. Well, of course, and that's why I said from the beginning that when I heard about it, I'm like, she's not fully abandoning her roots. She's fully rooted in the whole hyperpop sound. She's taking the more Slater approach to things, which shout out to Slater because she performed last night at Jimmy Fallon. Oh, that performance was everything. Even though I felt like, and she did dance. Vocally, she sounded fabulous. I was living for the lighting. And I love the fact that she keeps it simple. It's just her up there with the band, live drummer, the guitarist, the keyboardist, and you got the person playing the synths and stuff as well. So I'm like, if you incorporate the hyperpop vibe and just add some live guitars to the mix, that's basically what she did. And in a way, I guess what this is with Charli is that she basically used that comment because that when she says, I guess, dance music, the dance floor is dead, or whatever, isn't that a lyric in the song? So I feel like she did that as a way to bring controversy, to bring attention to the song, because any publicity is good publicity with a lot of these people. So now, days later, it said Charli addressed the online reaction directly through her secondary Instagram account, B-Sides, saying, "Seeing all the different reactions to my song Rock Music has been really interesting." She wrote, later comparing the backlash to the early criticism surrounding PC music and her Vroom Vroom era. Madonna's post arrives at an especially interesting moment because both artists are now pushing heavily into new album cycles centered around reinvention. Charli is preparing to release SS26. The hell's that? And they said it's coming out on Friday. So that's in 2 days. So they said, yeah, SS26 is coming out on Friday, May 22nd, continuing an era increasingly shaped by fashion imagery. Now, meanwhile, Madonna is building anticipation for Confessions on a Dance Floor Part 2, due on July 3rd. The project already generated strong momentum with Bring Your Love, a collaboration with Sabrina Carpenter, which reportedly reached #1 on iTunes in 48 countries and debuted at number 74 on the Billboard Hot 100. So Of course, I had to comment on, I had to give my opinion, which I wrote down. So I'm going to just read it to y'all. I'm hearing that Charlie's fake ass fans also was livid over Madonna throwing the dagger Charlie threw first back at the 360 singer. I can't stand people who throw a rock first and then play the victim when confronted. Take accountability for what you say. Her fans, y'all need to understand that. Now, you don't. Now, here's the thing about all of this. Madonna was right to feel how she feels, especially as someone like her who actually came up in the club scene. Yes, her foundation wasn't always dance music. It wasn't always house in the club culture and all this. So although she did sprinkle those forums throughout her career, but I feel like Confessions of the Dance Floor, maybe MDNA. Oh, not really. I'll say Confessions and Confessions 2 are like her most danciest of records, where she's full-fledged dance music. And then, of course, Finally Enough Love, the 50, and, the 50, what was it? Number ones. Yeah, that too. But in this whole situation, to me, it always seemed like it's like, so that's her foundation. She has a right to come out and defend the genre that basically raised her in the music scene. Same thing with John Summit. John Summit is a DJ, someone who left his financial career behind to get full time into music because that was his passion. And dance music has always been is his core situation. So when y'all talk about dance was his dad, when that's his bread and butter, he came out and said what he said, and people was getting mad. But what you getting mad for? Your girl came out and made her little comment. People don't have a right to clap back. So if you're gonna make little snide comments, and my thing is this: you can go and change up your sound and do all these other things and reinvent yourselves if that's what you want to do. But the extra shit is unnecessary. And that's what I think people are saying. You don't got to come out and thumb your nose at a genre of music that you wholeheartedly benefited from, mostly because of the Brat era leaned heavily on dance music. So a lot of those Johnny come latelys that all of a sudden decide to jump on the bandwagon and become fans of yours, who you trying to turn your back on because you don't like all this mainstream attention. Now she want to go back to the more avant-garde underground stuff because she don't want to do the whole mainstream thing, which they try to make her do with Crash, but she kept fighting against it. So she did it her own way with the Brat era, and it ended up working. So yeah, if you're gonna come out, you're gonna throw shade, especially when the timing was around the time that Madonna was releasing new music, and it kind of felt like you was throwing shade at her. It's like, bitch, I got an album out coming out called Confessions 2, which is the distant cousin of Confessions on the Dance Floor. Now you trying to talk about the dance floor is dead, bitch. Where? And that's how she was feeling. So, if people are feeling away over Madonna and John Summit saying how they feel, especially because they're out here defending the dance music scene. If her fans are mad about it, okay, oh well, go outside and touch grass. It's a lovely day to do it. So, I think that's all I got to say on that. So, on that note, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding Madonna's little clapback? Clapback. Remember that from RuPaul's Drag Race, Todrick's choreography. What do you think about what Madonna had to say where she threw shade at Charli xcx over her dance floor did? When she had said what she said a couple of weeks ago. So whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, I gotta scroll on up. Not you clocking it. You said the last topic lasted 57 minutes. The mother-daughter duo topic. Not you keeping track. But yeah, so when it comes to this, well, you said the last topic, it was 57 minutes? Or was it with the combination of the y'all in the comments making your comments? That might have been all together, but when I cut it down, it'll probably be a lot shorter. Madonna couldn't compare to 10 City. They were overlooked too. Madonna got way too much attention. Charli is so up her own ass. She's a Leo to, oh Lord. She was more likable in her Tumblr era, but now she thinks she invented a genre that was originally birthed from Sophie. Oh, He said spring summer 2020. I said, what the hell is SX26? Y'all with these goddamn abbreviations. I was like, I gotta sit up here and learn all this new stuff. You learn something new every day. Spring summer 26. Y'all couldn't just say it like how what's her name? Sheba Sheree, when she was it was like, when you coming out with that when them joggers, spring summer? You could have just said that. Chatting and trolling. She said, come on, Virgo opinions. Charlie definitely wants mainstream attention, but probably still wants to keep the underdog appeal. And there's ways you can go about it. It's like, and I think that's always been like a battle that people struggle with, where it's like you want the mainstream attention, but you still want to keep one foot underground. You got to figure out how to balance that. And I feel like she just be struggling trying to balance it. The fans are saying she's trying to kick the Brat fans away. Well, you shouldn't do Brat. It's like, look, and here's, I think, how it's always been. Reinvent yourself, try new things. And if those people that love Brat but don't love the new era don't stick around, oh, well, they were never really fans of yours to begin with. They were bystanders. You can't sit up here and try to curate every damn fan like they're like little pets that you hoard. This ain't hoarders. So do what you do, and whoever likes it, whoever don't. It's that simple. I just want to say why people make simple shit so complicated. But it's like, okay, the Brat era was the Brat era, and just be like, yeah, that was what it was. We moved on from that. I'm on to new things. And I'm inspired by new things because of, I'm acting and I'm doing all this other stuff. It inspired a different direction for the music. The foundation will always be electronic music, but I'm just into experimenting with different sounds. And it seems like a lot of people go into this whole electronic music meets rock vibe, live instrumentation. And it might be because we're in this whole AI situation, so maybe that's where that's coming from. You see how Charlie shut up when folks dragged that horrible ass single with her in the back seat. Charlie just need to release the album, and fans need to allow her to develop, because if she pulled a Lizzo and reheated Brat, it would be an issue. Oh, child, well, you better hold on to your butt, because Lizzo's the next topic. The topic itself and comments is over. I figured. He said, don't nobody know what that shit was. Oh, you talking about that song? I'm a big fan of Charlie, and even I can admit that she has a big ass ego that hurts her. She got the success she always secretly wanted with Brat, and now she thinks she's the queen of the alt pop girlies. So exactly. You know what it might be? It might be a case of imposter syndrome. How about just starting a new era and just move on, saying something is dead and done? And that's because that's the generation I come from. We came from the generation of shut the fuck up, create a new era, change up your sound, and keep it pushing. If people like it, they like it. If it flops, then you just got to deal with the consequences of a flop record. But no, y'all got to come in here. Y'all got to do whole citations. You got to throw shade. That's literally what I was thinking when 10 City was put in the comments. He said, sidebar, I listened to so much Crystal Castles yesterday, and now electronic is in my top 3 most listened to genres on Apple. Well, Crystal Castles is actually pretty good. I haven't listened to them in a month of Sundays, but I need to get around to it. Anyway, since somebody done mentioned Lizzo, let's get into her, because apparently Miss Thing want to run around here talking about Janet Jackson's the queen of pop. But which queen of pop did she just take this upcoming idea from? It don't begin with a J and ends with a T. It begins with an M and it ends with a Adonta. So, ma'am, if you're going to go up in here and play this little game, we're going to play this little game. So, Lizzo's been running around here getting all upset because none of y'all give a good goddamn about her upcoming album called Bitch, which I think the title alone might be an issue why the label ain't trying to promote this record. The title of the album is a little bit polarizing, even though bitch is such a, regular, random, whatever type of word. But Miss Thing out in the streets pulling a Madonna. Because remember, Madonna was up in London posting Confessions 2 posters all over the walls, and now Miss Thing out in LA doing the damn same. So the pop star blamed Atlantic Records and social media algorithms for failing to promote her album, Bitch. Saying ever since the algorithm has been showing us things out of order, baby, there's no way to successfully promote your album where everyone knows your album is coming. In a viral video, Lizzo asked fans to support Bitch when it drops. In real life, we cannot flop. My album is coming out in 23 days. Have you made your pre-order yet? Lizzo stressed the urgency in getting the word out about her album, saying, I'm posting every single day because this algorithm wants to see me in the Kaya Asylum. Child, not the Kaya Asylum. And bitch, I'm fighting for my life. Now, in another video, Lizzo was seen plastering huge promo posters on walls around town to get the word out. She also said Atlantic didn't have a budget for Bitch. Now, in another video, Lizzo was seen plastering huge promo posters on walls around town to get the word out. Why is it saying the same thing twice? It said, I don't know, but I'm crashing out on my label right now because I just really I feel like there's not any marketing money being put for. Well, first of all, they're not giving marketing money to anybody these days. Might be a few people. But if this is how the labels is doing you, Lizzo, how about you be the next one in line to go independent? Maybe that's where your career needs to go. Just go independent. But I don't think it's just, I get the whole algorithm thing and all this stuff. All these things she's saying is true. But I do believe that the reason why people ain't really checking for Lizzo like that is because she's literally the black Meghan Trainor. At this point, you literally giving us the same tired-ass anthemic songs that we've been hearing since about goddamn time. I know that's not the name of the title, but that's what I'm calling it. So you ain't really reinventing yourself as an artist. And I already know what you about to give with this new album, because it's what you've been giving us with your previous albums. And this recent single that you came out with, where it contains a tired-ass sample, I wasn't feeling it. So your songs is dry as hell. You're not really trying to push and do anything different, relative or new. You need to work with new writers and producers. And you sitting up in here losing weight and dressing half naked is not going to be enough to bring attention to your crunchy-ass music. Now, hold on. Because I want to bring this thing up that I saw over on the Twitter of this video of her with the whole bitch era in the paint and all the other stuff. So we're going to play this because we're going to come back and talk. Please hold.
My label won't hang up posters, so I'll do it myself. My whole fucking ass is out. You're good. Don't worry about it. My album comes out June 5th.
Joanna,
huge.
First of all, that poster looked atrocious. Her on top of her middle finger, that's got to be the dumbest shit I've ever seen. It ain't sticking.
Hi.
I see you driving by. My mom wanted to say hi.
Where's your mom?
It's on the phone.
Wait, what's your mom's name?
My mom's name is Marie.
Hi, Marie.
Girl,
ask Marie, did she pre-save my album? June 5th.
Roll the kiki all over that wall. Roll the kiki all over that wall. That's how it's going to fit.
Oh, shit. My poster fell.
Because you didn't roll the kiki on the wall. Oh, mess, child. Where is your roller?
I'm going to get the rest of this up.
Where's your roller to make sure it sticks? And what's the name? Where's your spoon? Yeah.
This is very hard, but it's very relaxing, like arts and crafts. One down, 12 more to go. Let's get it. Okay, guys, we literally have one more left.
All right, y'all got the gist, because I'm starting to hear music and I ain't trying to get demonetized. But y'all got the gist. And look, A for effort. I'm glad you're out here doing what you're doing with your music and however you need to get the word out to promote your record. I think maybe at this point, what needs to happen, and people like her and Madonna and all that, y'all might be on to something. And this next clip I'm about to show you with Cardi B, who also went through a similar situation with Am I the Drama, where they were talking about that she had to promote her album Am I the Drama after the label refused to give her a decent marketing budget late last year. So she had to go and find creative ways. And to me, it's like, some of you artists, y'all got to get in y'all personality bag and figure out ways to get eyes on your music. And I think hanging up posters or doing a little crazy situation, like, y'all gotta go find ways to do, like, you know how the kids are doing with the TikTok and going viral stuff back when TikTok was popping, because now it's just a Zionist propaganda machine. But back when TikTok was popping, the kids found new ways, interesting ways to bring attention to whatever it is they were doing. And so I think artists are gonna have to do that. Doing no budget creative ways, because if the record labels are not going to give you all the backing to really promote y'all shit, you got to find creative ways to go about it where you don't have to break the bank. Now, this clip that I'm going to show y'all is from Cardi B when she had to promote her album, which I thought was pretty funny. So let's play this and we'll come back and talk.
Hear ye, hear ye. Due to the Imaginary Players music videos, Atlantic Records have done some deduction to my album's budget. So the new check has arrived and been received. And the new budget is $50. So due to the fact that the budget is $50 for my album, I have to go on the road and sell these CDs and vinyls myself. So I'm here to tell you that I might be going to your city next week, starting Friday. So let's see which are the luckiest, most famous, most wonderful, most grateful cities that has been chosen. Are you guys ready? So these are the dates and these are the cities that are chosen for me to come and do the meet and greet. In these locations, you're going to be able to buy a CD and a vinyl, whatever you want. I don't care. Just buy it. The first city is Friday, September 19th, Long Island, New York. Saturday, September 20th, Eastern Pennsylvania. Yes, Pennsylvania. We're going up to there. Sunday, September 21st, New York, New York. We double back in the city. Like, you know, New York love each other. You just got to see me 2 times. Monday, September 22nd, Atlanta, Georgia. Anyways, Tuesday, September 23rd, Houston, Texas. Get your fucking boots on. Yeah, that's right. And Thursday, September 25th, Long Beach, California. Yes, it's gonna be the best meet and greet ever. Make sure you gotta purchase a CD or a vinyl. Make sure you meet me there. And on top of that, what is on top of that? I'm just going through a very hard time right now. I just don't know what I'm gonna do right now. Like, they want to put me back in the Bronx. Like I'm just losing all my job and stuff like that. I'm just very devastated. And if you could just buy a CD and a vinyl or a box set, it would just be very grateful.
See, now that's a creative way that you go about trying to sell your shit. So shout out to you, Belle Calise. You know, there's always an interesting way that she has to go about, like, trying to bring attention to her. And her coming from that reality TV world, she definitely has it on a lot. But and then in addition to that, you know, even though that was last year when she was doing that with the album, the Am I the Drama sold over 200,000 units in its first week and peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 200 albums chart. And it also has been certified 3 times platinum by the RIAA. So They was like, screw you on that budget. They wasn't giving her the money that she wanted, but Cardi made it work because she's a hustler and she has the gift of gab and a great personality. And Lizzo, you might be on the right track, but we'll see if it actually works for you when this album comes out, whenever it comes out, because I don't even remember at this point. So, and I also find it relatively interesting, like we said before, is that you said Janet Jackson was the queen of pop, but you actually took from the other queen of pop, Madonna, took a page out of her handbook to go sell to bring promotion to this album. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Lizzo had to say in that little snippet clip, if in case that might be the first time y'all saw it, from Cardi B. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right. Nicki the MAGA and Cecilia the unemployed shaded Lizzo. Oh yeah, there was that too. And then I saw that there was something I saw on one of the blogs, the gay blogs, that Azealia said some homophobic stuff against him. I was like, who cares about that irrelevant ass yuck mouth having bitch? We don't sit up in here and think about Azealia tied funky pussy smelling ass. Trump has been diagnosed with breast cancer. Which one? AB so annoying. 1991 was too good for you to squander, but alas. Well, look, if you want to hear somebody that actually that does like what Azealia Banks does, but better, listen to Cakes the Killer. Robert Price. So, that's also Tiger Woods' girlfriend. Oh, so the ex-wife of Trump Jr.? Because that's who, isn't that who he's dating? Child marketing is going to land. You said marketing is going to hand out money to a project that's going to flop. She's done released 4 different Charmin Tissue ass songs, and they haven't sold it. Not Charmin Tissue. He said Billy Joel condemns an unauthorized. Yeah, I heard about that. And he said good luck trying to get the music. And I'm like, that's a prime example of why a lot of, the studio and whatever comply with the Michael thing, because they wanted license to that music. The movie wouldn't have did anything if they didn't have the music. Those posters look hideous. Like it's that album cover that looks hideous too. She looks like those women who do those clean, not the clean talk videos. It definitely was given the help. Like you was the maid. You could have been one of the maids in the help. This the same thing Cardi was doing, both Atlantic. Yeah, and it's funny how you posted that in the comments, and I had that clip ready. Like you wearing a diaper and tank top to glue some posters to a damn wall. Her or that album cover doesn't look appetizing at all. Look, I know you in your new body, and did you see the shoes with the fur on the top? I was like, who dressed you? I wish I could go up to a flat, fat black lady, but I only like a couple Lizzo songs. He said, I'm gagged. This is dumb. Wait, I'm gagged. This is dumb as fuck. Her being out on this little, she of the people. I'm of the people. I want to get, not you talking about Give Me Cupcake. Well, child, the other day I was listening to one of her songs and I was sitting there, gag. I'm like, oh, the stuff you saying up in here. What's that song? Fuck me. That's, child, if you listen to the lyrics of that song, the shit she was talking about gargling dick, I'm like, ma'am. I'm like, she'd have Lil' Kim out here blushing during a hardcore era. Cause like, yeah, Cupcake be going in. She doing all this, but still no noise on her new single, Just Retire. Well, look, let her go out here and perform for her small little demographic. And continue. I told her that's why I said she the Meghan Trainor for black. She the black Meghan Trainor. Coming something for me as a bop. Deep Throat is better than WAP. I don't care what your Deep Throat. That is a nasty ass song. That's why I said I was clutching my pearls listening to that song. It just happened to come on in like my shuffle because I like Cupcake. I was like, oh, I ain't heard this song in a minute. Then I was on the bus heading to the city, and I was like trying not to be all, making it out. I'm like, damn. So the stuff she be saying in there. I entered a competition to win a Confessions 2 street poster. She has 15 of them. Wish me luck. Mm-hmm. Yes, she is. All right, y'all. So now we are down to our final 4 topics. So before we get to our final 4, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have super chats. We have super stickers. You can hype the channel. You can do all the things to help get these numbers up over there on this show. Because when it's up and it's stuck, or whatever it was that Cardi B said. So now, without further ado, let's get into. We've been here talking about dramas and beefs. Let's get into this one. So there seems to be an R&B going on between Tank and Durand Bernarr. Now, there's a beginning, middle, and end of this story because they have patched things up. But for those of you who didn't hear about what happened, let's get into the tea. So Durand Bernarr went and did an interview on the Joe Budden podcast. And he was discussing the difference. It was discussing a bunch of things, but they was discussing the difference between being a straight man and a heterosexual, which I thought was relatively interesting. I wish I had that clip that I could play it for y'all, but the only one I have for y'all is when he went in on Tank and their little situation they had. He said they appeared on some show together, and Tank basically said that he was blocked by Tank over criticizing his vocal ability. So recounting the shady exchange, Bernarr joked that the Money I Deserve singer started it after suggesting singers who couldn't tackle Tevin Campbell's Can We Talk in the original key weren't real R&B singers. And then Durand Bernarr was like, sir, you can't even sing in the key of a Tevin Campbell. But I have the clip, we're going to play it. And here's the thing with that. Tevin Campbell was probably like, what, 10 or 11 or 12 years old when he sang that song? Who was singing that song in the key if he was singing? He was a child. His voice was changing. So we got to be, if we're going to be fair on some stuff, we got to be fair on some stuff. So we have that clip. We're going to go to that clip. Hopefully it's not playing. And then we will come back and talk.
And you can lie on the last. Yeah.
Okay, so and then there was that little jewel that he threw in that Joe Budden admitted that because all them years that he was running around saying I'm bisexual, apparently he's not. So, and one thing about a sassy black queen is that don't come for me unless I send for you. So if you're gonna come up here and say some shit, don't expect that we're not going to come with a clapback. So if you're going to sit up here and say that you can't call yourself an R&B singer if you can't sing Can We Talk like Tevin Campbell, me, I don't like that because that's one of the issues that I've always had with like these American Idol type shows is the fact that when y'all covering somebody's song, make the song your own. How would you approach this song? Why do I have to sing it exactly in the key in the same way that Tevin Campbell singing? At that point, it's not even covering the song, it's karaoke. That's what you're doing. So let me bring what I bring to the song. Let me take it and put it in my own little way. So then Tank got himself up on the internet because apparently this got back to him, obviously, and said, at Durand Bernarr, I don't know you to dislike you. What I do know is that you are incredibly talented. What you don't know is that I support and defend you, but we'll save that for later. If I did block you, it was because you were talking shit. At least be honest. And that's exactly what it was. And it didn't seem like to me that Durand was being honest when he was sitting up there. It's like, yeah, if you said some old shit like that, which is valid because it's like, I'm responding to the shade you threw, which is what you said was, you're not an R&B singer if you can't sing this song the way Tevin Campbell sings Can We Talk. First of all, and like you said, he was a kid then. So I'm a grown-ass man. You're expecting me to sing this song in the key the way this boy sing? I'm not a countertenor. He's a countertenor. What if you're a soprano, you're an alto, you're, a mezzo-soprano? If you have all these different vocal levels, I'm not going to be trying to sing this song like how he sang it. I'm going to bring my own situation to it. I'm not blowing out my vocal cords trying to hit all them Tevin Campbell knows, Tevin sings down, so he can sing. So But yeah, but if you're talking shit, I'm gonna block your ass too. But it's like, you did call for it. I responded. My clapback was to block you, and that's what it is. So yeah, at least be honest with that. It's like, yeah, I mean, like they were saying in the thing, you were being messy, you were throwing shade, and some of the other. I didn't start no. You said what you said. Own it. So then Durand hit back with the following. He said, "Brosif, I'm down to talk and squash it because there's genuinely no beef on my side." And then Tank was like, "Good to hear. See you soon." And then, so all that went down and they patched things up. I'm glad they patched things up. They ended up patching it up on FaceTime. So they've had conversations. People even said they might want to see them do a collab together. If y'all can cook up something, that's great, because Durand got a new album coming out. I mean, coming out, it's out. Durand got a new album out. I think it's called Bernarr. So he has a new album out. A lot of features on it. It's an R&B record. I did like his previous record, which was like more like a house record. If you could hop, then you could hear. If you could hop, then you could hear. That was my song, and he was singing down on that damn album. So I loved when he was going more in the house era. That was the album before this one. I haven't heard the new album yet, so I'm gonna give it a gander. But last but certainly not least, then Tevin Campbell actually responded in this whole situation, because somebody decided by the name of Louie decided to get their ass up on the whole internet and said with their whole chest, it's not shade because no one, not even Tevin Campbell, can sing the song in the original key. So to say you're not a singer if you can't sing it in the original key is crazy. And then to sing it not in the original key is crazier. And then Tevin said, yes, he can, sir. So you sitting up there saying, I can't sing this song in original key, and now he referring himself in the third person. He said, who said that? That I can't sing my own song in the original key? And Tevin still got pipes. I mean, I don't know if he can sing it in the thing, but look, if he said that he can, we just gonna have to take his word for it. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I'm glad they all patched things up and everything, but yeah, you know, we got a homosexual being messy against someone who's been rumored to be homosexual. Tank ain't come out of the closet, so we're not gonna pull him out. Now he is an ally. He has performed at Black Pride events, and so he is an ally to the community. And we love our allies when y'all genuinely give a fuck about us, not when y'all up in here trying to just take our coins like a Kaya or one of them other girls that be running up here. Who's the other one? Jules, no talent, having ass. You know, Salon's son. When y'all run up in them black gay spaces, taking our coins, but don't really give us nothing but homophobia and bullshit. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the and if y'all want to see these two collab on the track. So let me know what your thoughts on this story in the comments down below. I had to change the speed on that, by the way, because when I went and tried to post that original clip on my Facebook, they blocked it. So they said, I'm sorry, I can't stand Durand. He's a great singer, but I know I can't tell him any secrets because he can hold water. Yo, that's what, no shade, but that's what I be saying about my mother. I'm like, you cannot hold water. This ain't a secret. All of this was already public. Maybe not the block part. Mm. Well, you know, a lot of people aren't aware of a lot of the stuff that's going on. That's like, and funny enough, when that whole situation, and not a lot of people pays attention and knows all the tea, because there was a whole situation where Jason Lee was on the Ebro Laura Rosenberg show, and then he had his little spout with Rosenberg, calling him a culture vulture, and of course there's black these hotep types that think, oh yeah, Rosenberg's a culture vulture, and try to compare him to Maul, who used to do a show and then with Joe Budden at one point, the white one. They were busy saying, you know, this whole situation. Damn, I totally forgot my train of thought. Oh yeah, so now I remember what I said. A lot of people in the comments who watch the Ebro Lauren Rosenberg show were like, because in Jason Lee bubble, all the little drama and stuff was going on is definitely going to help him. He's going to help them. They're going to go viral, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But a lot of the people who watched the Ebro Lauren Rosenberg show were like, they don't even know who Jason Lee is. So I'm just saying this in a way with like not everybody is aware of, you know, what you're saying. This ain't a secret. A lot of people aren't aware. Tank was straining while singing Can We Talk? Oh, was he? I didn't even hear his version. So I can't be mad. I'm really hoping Durand can steer clear of the messy gay stereotype, but it's on him to do so. So you thinking he probably gonna fall into, I mean, I don't know if this would be a good comparison, but do you think it's gonna be kind of like what do you call it, Billy Porter territory? Joe is so annoying. He can be. That's why I don't really, to be honest, I don't watch the Joe Budden podcast because they just be sounding so damn ignorant over there all the time. And I was like, what are y'all even talking about? First of all, it's too many of y'all on that damn panel. There don't need to be 6 of y'all. I don't even know how many there is anymore. But it was like, yeah, it's overcrowded up in this room. And I just don't, it's just a lot of topics they talk about. I'm like, y'all mad late with these topics. So I do agree on the annoying part. Child Joe lying, he bi and messy. And so it's allegedly. Durand owned the comment. It was messy, but true. And Tank was talking ish too. It was general and not specific. But how you talking, you can't sing for real if you're not in the original key while sounding a mess. Well, don't sing songs that's not in your, wheelhouse. If a song is too big for you to sing and you know you ain't got the pipes to handle all of that and the breath control, don't do it. That's a good question. Where is Tevin? Tevin around here somewhere. Did he get busted for prostitution, allegedly? I also believe Durand didn't tell the whole story because, be for real, why the hell would he block you over that? Oh, just for saying something like you ain't singing in the key? Yeah, it got to be more to it. Mind you, this was a challenge where a bunch of people were covering the song at the time. Tank was low-key trashing all those covers. Well, the show he's even talking about, I never even watched. The first thing that any reputable voice coach tells you is that choosing the correct key for your instrument is paramount. All right, y'all. So now, let's get into this story. Let's talk about my girl Maya. And yes, I'm being biased because I know Maya's manager, Mike Kilman. That's why I'm covering the story. But yeah, Maya got a new album out. And she said it was inspired by Prince and a whole bunch of others. She also addressed the fact of what had happened with this whole tour regarding the Pussycat Dolls. Because remember, she was supposed to open for the Pussycat Dolls, her and Lil' Kim, and gave a little detail on that. So, Maya's been around for 3 decades. I know kind of people just brush her off or whatever, but I love me some Maya. I loved her, her first album. I love My Love Is Like, whoa. I even liked her song, when she performed with Cisco. Where Miss Thing at today with that blonde hair? Where's she at? Where Miss Thing? And then also, Mood Ring, even though she had issues with Mood Ring. And I think she said during the era of Mood Ring, that made her want to go independent because they kept filtering her vocals. And one of the things I learned, and this was a gag for me, because I was like, why y'all always making her sound crazy and stuff musically in the studio? When she did the Queen's R&B tour with SWV and Escape and a bunch of like toured members of Total, it was like each of the girl groups only had like a member or 2 missing. Which means like any of you other groups, there's no excuse. Y'all can get out there and do your group, your tours with half the girls, except unless you're the Pussycat Doll, because nobody in America cares unless you're gay, and you're going to be going to the Pride event out in L.A. But anyway, when I heard her sing live at that show, I'm like, where the pipes come from? So I felt like a lot of her mainstream records never did her vocals justice. They were like filtering and putting auto-tune and all this crazy. I'm like, she don't need all that. She actually has vocal chops. So people got to stop sleeping on Miss Harrison. Anyway, so when Maya began conceptualizing what will become her 9th album, Retrospect, she knew she needed to subsume I was like, what was that word? Subsume herself in sound that both played to her performance strengths and spoke to where she is in her life. She said, I wanted to turn it up a notch. This is what she told Variety of the funk-powered record that arrived last Friday. I feel like in my career, I haven't been the type of tempo music that supports one of the greatest assets of Maya. I'm a party girl, but people wouldn't know it because I'm so laid back. I'm still the same girl from Case of the X. I'm just in my grown era. And I think that was one of the things I've always felt about Maya. I felt like she never really pushed to be more like that. I wanted more dance stuff. I wanted more choreography from her. And it always seemed like she was always kind of pulling back. And I know in her personality, she's very laid back and very chill. But if you got the chops of being like you a tap dancer, you're a classically trained dancer and all this other stuff, we want to see more of that from you when you're in your live performance. So I'm glad that she kind of is bringing in the whole, dance vibe of like the era of Prince and funk and all the other stuff. So now Retrospect, they said, forgoes the languid pace of Maya's last album, which was 2018's TKO, The Knockout, in favor of the R&B and funk of the late 70s and 80s. Now 46, the singer draws inspiration from the music that inspired her, name-checking Prince and the Gap Band for a spate of upbeat tunes, dotted by glittery synths, pummeling 808s, and plunky bass notes. That's why I always say I always need an 808 behind my music. When I make that joke, y'all be thinking I'm dead. I'm joking. I'm serious. I'm joking, bitch. I'm serious. Now Maya invokes, they said she got a song with Snoop Dogg called No Pressure. Well, no shade to Maya, but Snoop Dogg will show up in the envelope opening. So I just love the fact that he works with everybody and anybody. And that's not shade to her because she's independent. It's great that you're independent. You can get a Snoop Dogg on your record. But I like the fact that he works with a lot of different people in all stages of their career. So they said on the Snoop Dogg feature standout No Pressure, for instance, Maya invokes the carefree feeling of loping around a roller rink as she sings of taking things slow with someone she just met, horns blasting alongside her. Now, Maya recorded a lot of Retrospect in LA, amassing songs that she tinkered with over the course of several years. She co-executive produced the album alongside Lamar My Guy Mars Edwards, I think that's how you say his name, a member of 1500 and Nothing, who has worked with everyone from T.I. to Snoop Dogg to Jay-Z and Drake. Now an independent artist, she released her first 4 albums through Interscope and Universal Motown up until 2008 Sugar and Spice via her own shingle Planet 9. Maya revels in being completely hands-on, producing her own vocals and managing day-to-day operations like booking studio sessions and selecting press photos. Now, exercising that control, she says, has been an ethos applied to all her projects for nearly 2 decades, saying, when I didn't necessarily have the creative freedom over, I'll say, control of the files, I tended to be very dissatisfied with the outcome. She points to her 2003 album Mood Ring as an example where her vocals were often processed or had too much auto-tune, and that she prefers imperfections. She said, when I went independent, I began playing in a space of being satisfied with the work, and I would not come out or put anything out into the universe until it was the way that I wanted it. Being independent empowers me to say, all right, we're good here. And that was one of the things I'll have to say I love too, is that I'm noticing that even with this generation, they're actually preferring imperfections in the vocals. And to me, I like a little imperfection. If your voice crack a little bit when you up there hitting that note or whatever the case, or if you go over a little key or whatever, I'm not mad at you for doing it. It goes to show that there's human side to you. Everything don't need to be perfect. And I think because when you come from a society or upbringing of everything has to be perfect, nothing can sound out of place or out of sync or out of line or whatever the case is, then like if it's unintentional, I was like, there's beauty in that. Now, she also said Prince played a significant role as inspiration for Maya in Retrospect, as the sound of Minneapolis funk casts a long shadow over the record. Now, from the pulsating bass lines on Masterpiece to the clattering synth notes of Life is What You Make It, Retrospect pays homage to the Purple One, who often imparted wisdom to Maya on navigating her career as an indie artist, saying, obviously, the independence, he was a huge advocate for it. There was a sense of protection in some of those conversations and protecting your art. There was also investment in living below your means, not going after materialism, but truly building a space as an athlete would to train as a recording artist, having your own studio, having your own place where you can rehearse so that you can literally pour into your craft because the outcome is based on what you're putting in. And that's just investment, practicing. He comes from a school where there are no shortcuts. Now, Maya, of course, has taken a long road to arrive at such a contented creative space. Since debuting with her self-titled album in 1998, she carved a path for herself by playing the major label game, sending hits like Case of the X and My Love Is Like Whoa to the upper reaches of the charts. But after her label bungled the release of her fourth album, Liberation, she took the reins of her career and charged onward, learning how to sharpen her business acumen in real time, saying the world is yours. It's a free playground where you can experiment and explore in your own time. Real deep dive. Test records before you invest, develop relationships that last a long time, build teams, offer opportunities, internships, etc. You're literally learning so many things as you go, but also meeting so many people because you are in need of those who can move the needle. And it's a wonderful thing to have those moments and then build upon that. Now, Retrospect was initially intended as a precursor to an opening slot on Pussycat Dolls' reunion tour, PCD Forever, but the North American trek was canceled in early May, with some attributing to ticket sales. Maya says it's a bummer that the tour was called off, but that she wasn't aware of a specific reason for its cancellation. Do we need to get in the conversation of why the Pussycat Dolls tour flop? What y'all should have, and what they should have did, which was do appearances at award shows and all other stuff, do smaller venues. Like you should have took a page out of the Danny Kane handbook, do a couple of little club slots in small little venues. And then if the momentum was there, then you graduate to an arena tour, put out some new music so we can see you and two other girls giving us, what are y'all giving us in 2026? But when you look at a group like the Pussycat Dolls, people ain't clamoring for them like that, like they would a Fifth Harmony or Little Mix or Spice Girls or any of those type of groups. Nobody's really clamoring for those girls like that. Like y'all were never those girls. Anyway, yeah, y'all had a couple of hits, but y'all wasn't like top priority in regards of a lot of us with the whole girl group situation. So yeah, she said that she's pretty much in the dark about everything regarding the whole tour. And I believe she found out about the cancellation of the PCD situation the day of that she had to do that interview based off of what they were saying in there. But she also said that she is going to tour this upcoming album. It sounds interesting. And I always encourage artists, like if you are in a certain place in your career and you want to get out there and you want to, make a name for yourself or still be out here doing it, go into being an independent artist. That's the best way to go about it. That's what I'll say on that. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Maya and what she had to say? And she got her new album coming out and the whole thing. Unfortunately, had to cancel that whole thing regarding the Pussycat Dolls. I mean, it would have been nice to see her and Little Kim out there. But I feel like if you're going to do a Pussycat Dolls tour, yeah, Little Kim and Maya, they're nostalgia acts. But if y'all want to get younger people to come see it, you should have reached a little younger for the type of people you want to be a part of that whole situation. But anyway, or maybe it's the fact that all three of you ladies are probably not, well, you're not attached to a label, so maybe it's a money thing. Who knows? But let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Well, good for Madonna. When I first saw Lady Marmalade when I was 5 years old, I thought she was the most beautiful woman I ever seen. She aged really well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, black don't crack. You said Cisco doing that Sonic role in the green suit in that Maya performance. Unpopular opinion, but Maya should have opened the Boy Is Mine tour. That ain't no unpopular opinion. Everybody was saying that. Kelly, they was like, wait, who was the other girl that had ended up leaving the that had to leave the group? Was it Ari Lennox or one of them girls? I can't remember. But yeah, when they called Maya to come in at the last minute, everybody was like, well, you should have had her on the tour in the beginning. Because yeah, I don't know why, and I feel like a lot of people just be sleeping on her. Cause it's like when we think about like, of course, when we talk about Lady Marmalade, it's like, yeah, we got Lil' Kim is famous in her own right. Christina's still doing whatever she doing. Pink's still out here doing what she doing. And of the many pop girlies at the time, Maya always seemed like an afterthought. And I don't know if it was maybe because she wasn't really pushing herself to be out there like that, but I do feel like, but when I've seen her perform and everything, I say she definitely be showing. She definitely is, has the goods. Fallen is an absolute gem from her. Mm-hmm. He said, Mike posted, somebody come get this bitch. I was like, I forgot she has an EDM track. Wait, who we talking about? Who we getting? All right, y'all. So now, since we already talked about her earlier, but she was a part of a different conversation, the Lizzo conversation, let's talk about Belle Khalees. So, Belle Khalees, aka Belle Khalees Elmanzar, aka Cardi B, recently did a Twitter Spaces session where she basically told her fans that after getting the bug for touring and the success of the Little Miss Drama tour, which it definitely was a success, her 2 nights at the Garden was sold out, and I think every show she did was sold out. It was actually a pretty good show. So shout out to Cardi, because Cardi definitely did her big one. She definitely has the personality. She definitely works her ass off. She definitely had everybody having a good old time at that show. And she puts on a good show. She's definitely a show woman, a show girl, if you want to call it that. So Cardi recently did a video. I have the clip where she basically talks about it's a long one too. It's about, well, I don't know if we're gonna play the whole thing, but we'll just listen to see how far she takes it. But she gave insight into the tour and how much money she put into the production and all the things regarding the tour and why she's interested in wanting to go back out on the road. Now, hold on. I almost forgot how to bring my clips up. So we're going to listen to what she had to say and come back and talk. Please hold.
Remember when I did the video that is like, I'm over budget? I had a big budget for my tour. However, I wanted this tour to be big. So a lot of my money that I have myself, I put it in my tour. But it's so good because, like I said, I grossed 70 million. How much did I spend on production for tour? No lie, about $35 million. No lie. Every single day, how many people besides the dancers? Because y'all only see dancers. We had like about 26 buses. That's how many people was in our shit. I think I had like 25 people working my show, probably even more. So y'all count that up from the people that do the lights, from the people that do the production. So that's just, that 35 was just what we spent in the beginning. During the tour, you're still spending money. And you know how you're still spending money? Because sometimes shit will break. Sometimes things don't work. Sometimes you got to fly in like, all right, there was this one time that we thought we wasn't even going to be able to bring the carousel out for like 2-3 times, for like 3 shows. And I was like, we're bringing it out. So we had to fly in another different crew to fix up the carousel, blah, blah. That's money being spent. Then venues, they do one thing about venues. Oh, let me tell you something. Every time you're late, them venues don't give a fuck. They charging you about $50,000 or $40,000. No matter how much you try to dispute it, when motherfuckers say they want you out the building at this certain time, you got to get out a certain time because they will charge you. And so.
And look, didn't I tell y'all that? I told y'all that would be working in live entertainment. You got until this amount of time to be done with your show. If you go over, you have to pay that penalty. And she telling you, because there have been times when Miss Belle Khalees was late getting on the stage for her Am I the Drama, the Little Miss Drama tour at the Garden. She was, I think, an hour late during the first day. Like, she was supposed to go on, I believe, 8:30. She didn't get on until like 9:30. And I'm not sure if she went over. She probably did. But yeah, you got to pay all that money. But that's crazy when she said $35 million she had to put up on her own show. And it just goes to show, like, damn, it's like an artist. I mean, she can always recoup the money because of who she is. Like, there's always going to be ways that Cardi's going to always make money and do deals, whatever the case is. But that's crazy that she put that type of money in that. But good investment, because the tour, what it said that she was, that she was the first female rapper to sell out an entire arena tour. So she made the history book.
That's still money that even after you get your tour budget, your production budget and everything, you still got to spend. So please count that up, because I feel like some of y'all are dumb. Talking about I was taking parties after parties. Hell yeah, why wouldn't I not take? This is the thing about y'all. And other artists, it's okay if they don't take it, but I got 4 kids, okay? I don't give a fuck. And I take care, not only do I take care of my 4 kids, I take care of my whole family. And when I'm talking about whole family, I'm not talking about just mom and dad. I got a big ass fucking family. Big family. And I ain't gonna say who I be taking care of, because it ain't for me to blast some of my family members. Definitely not my sister, because y'all be thinking like, oh, your sister. Nah, my sister's good. My sister's put up. My sister's super put up. I'm talking about other family members. So don't ever think that, oh, if these artists don't like taking after parties, that's cool. But me, I'm definitely, if I gotta do a fucking walk-in for 30 minutes and I'm getting paid $200,000 or $150,000, the minimum, I'm gonna take it. Especially if they're gonna give me cash, half of it in cash, I'm taking it. I'm definitely taking it. Like, what is 30 minutes to go to the fucking club, enjoy yourself? You're gonna go out anyways. Like, after a concert, people want to go out. My crew want to go out. Might as well get paid for it. If you're gonna say no to a bag, that's on you. But I'm not gonna say no to a bag. And when I do these miscellaneous TikTok deals, first of all, I actually enjoy those deals, because first there has been 3, I'll say about 3 companies that I just love. Like, they have changed the texture of my skin so good, and I wouldn't know about it if I didn't get the deals. So that's a positive. Like, the shit that I be promoting, I actually been using it, and it's been working wonders, to the point that I be like, now I'm ordering it for my cousins and my mom, because the shit be so good. But not only that, but it's like, I'm not gonna say no if they want to do deals with me, and it's a quick $400,000 for for a fucking product that I'm gonna end up buying anyways. Because if I see it on TikTok, I'm gonna buy it. Like, one thing about me, I'm a chronic TikTok shopper. So if I see a lotion, if I see a candy, if I see anything on TikTok, I'm buying it. Why not get the money and promote it? And also, like me, when I get big endorsement deals, like let's say if I get a $4 million, $5 million endorsement deal, right? It usually comes from my management or my talent agency. When I get those deals, I gotta give like I said, 10% and 5%. When I make my TikTok deals, there ain't no percent. That shit is mine. And I spend it on whatever I want to spend it on. I spend it on whatever I want to spend it on. I'm not hurting ever for money. Like, I just bought 2 cars. That's what, and also, Barty Gang, y'all been asking for content. I know. I'm going to give you content real soon. I've been waiting for my cars, though. Like, I'm waiting for my car so I could give you the content that I want. Because I have been having my little content for my car, but I haven't spent like $1 million on jewelry. Like, and I shop almost every single day. So don't ever talk about hurting for money and, but supposedly you grow 70. Do you know what comes when it comes when you grow 70 million, the money that you spent, the type of production that I fucking spend money on? Do you think that's how I know that y'all slow? Y'all think there's like, yeah, 70 million, I grossed it and it goes to automatic my bank account. How much money you think I spend on production? How much money do you think I gotta pay in taxes? How much money you think I gotta spend in fucking management and on fucking on talent agencies?
Okay. We pretty much got enough, because I was feeling like, Cardi, you just going in and just rambling and all this stuff. And like, I like the idea of her giving a little behind the scenes tea on, what it takes to put a production together and the amount of money that artists end up having to put up for their own stuff. I love the fact that she did bring that up and brought attention to it and all this other stuff. But look, if you want to take money or whatever the case, look, if I was in her situation and someone offered me, okay, I'm going to pay you like $200,000 or $500,000 or $1 million to come spend 30 minutes or an hour in the club and hanging out with the fans on other stuff who were just at your show. Of course I'm going to take that money. What are you, dumb? Or do you think it's all about integrity? I'm not saying like it's a bad thing, like you just take money for the sake of taking money, because all money ain't good money. But if somebody's offering you money in endorsement deals and club appearances, all this stuff, who's going to turn that down? Like, you be a whole idiot to turn down that kind of money. Especially what I'm supposed to go broke just because I'm supposed to be all demure and mindful in regards of my career. Yes, I'm an artist, but I also have a whole lot of people that I'm taking care of. You have your team of people that you have to pay for, your managers or these other people. They get 10% of your income whenever they're helping you get deals or whatever, any kind of business endeavors. So that's money. All of that is depleting. Then if you got kids, then you got family members always got their fucking hand on like their name is Oliver with a bowl and please serve me out some more. Like there's that. I don't know if I'd be in a position wanting to take care of family members. There'd be certain ones. My parents, of course, I got them. My sister, I would help out. My brother can go die in the street of homelessness. I couldn't give a fuck. I would lift a finger to help his ass. I wouldn't even spit on him if he was on fire. And certain other family members, y'all can go fuck yourselves. You ain't never rocked with me when I ain't had shit. So don't all of a sudden have your hand out and remember who I am. Well, now that things is good on my end, I need you to keep that same energy. Pretend I'm broke. So, but I understand that she wants to help everybody out and those other stuff, and how she spent her money and how she decides to accumulate what she's doing that led her. But I like the idea of, all this money that I'm accumulating and I'm taking from all these different deals, if there's something that I want and the label is going to show their ass and be like, no, we don't have the budget for that. We don't have it for, okay, well, fine, fuck you then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go dip into my wallet and I'm going to go pay for whatever needs to be paid for so I can have that on my show. If my dancers need whatever it is that they need and whatever needs to be for the show, I'll put up the money. I don't need y'all. Give me a little tiny ass budget that you're trying to give me. I'll put up my money. I'll invest in me. And that's what I think a lot of artists need to look at it in that way as well. Or people need to look at it in that way as well, which is you got to invest in you. And sometimes they even said with Lady Gaga first tour, she damn near went broke of putting money up for what she wanted to have in her, what was it, the Fame Ball, whatever it was called. So yeah, at the end of the day, you got to invest in you. Fuck fuck these other people, fuck these haters who don't have what you have. So I just wish at one point Cardi would just stop explaining herself to these damn people, because they just troll you at this point. So I say all this to say, but she always going to do that. So she ain't going to listen. What do you guys think of this long ass story? Because I had to play out that 6-minute clip on top of, she's about she want to go back on tour. Because I was like, yeah, you got the bug. So now you want to go back out on tour and perform. And I'm like, yeah, touring is fun. And some people like being out there performing on stage. It's the roar of the crowd. It becomes addicting. I'd rather her do that than do drugs. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. He said, it's raining heavy. Check on Pedro in the basement. He said, first female rapper to sell out an arena tour. Check the barbs and their because they probably losing their shit. Well, I'm about to talk about their queen in a second. And he said, Pedro, this is And I think that's one of the things I like about her too, is that she'll tell you she don't give a fuck. She'll be like, I'm gonna tell y'all the real deal. Like I can't speak for other artists, but this is how it really is. And I think that's why people like her, is because even with all the glitz and the glam, she's still like that down home girl type from around the way. and will really just give y'all the real deal. A lot of people try to hide behind. Child, I was even thinking that. At one point, it was her voice was so loud in my ear. I'm sure y'all noticed I had to turn down the it was like it's so loud in my ear. It's a chronic TikTok. So I'm a chronic TikTok shopper, smooth brain consumerism. But good for her. Well, look, one thing, I was never one that was big on shopping on TikTok, but when there's places where it's like, oh, I see an outfit and it's hard for me to find that look somewhere, or those specific pants, or like I got this shirt and I'm wearing these little muscle crop tops. I got this on TikTok. But that was before I deleted the app. And so there be certain things I be wanting to get, and I'm like, I don't be wanting to shop on the Facebook one because I be thinking they scams. But yeah, exactly. You got to spend money to make money. A B cup. Child, them titties is bigger than that. The commentary makes me want to go rediscover Maya from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. Well, I be wanting y'all to get up on these girls and things. That's why we talk about them over here. How much does she pay Offset to stop sleeping with hoes? Well, she ain't with him no more. So he said he exists. That's what he did. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But anyway, let's get to our final topic. Since we was over there talking about Cardi, let's talk about her good Judy, Nicki Minaj. Because Linda Perry, super producer from back in the day and 4 Non Blonde lead singer, has taken some flack for defending Nicki. Basically, I guess calling her misunderstood. I'm like, no. You worked on an album called Misunderstood, but there's nothing misunderstood, in my opinion, about old girl. So now that I found the picture, we can get into the story. So Linda Perry is speaking out about Nicki Minaj and the backlash surrounding the rapper's MAGA affiliations, and she's showing empathy rather than judgment. Now, Perry's empathetic stance, Linda Perry says she's not judging Nicki Minaj's Trump support, framing it as a possible bad judgment made under personal pressure. Well, that kind of is judging her. Minaj's political shift, it was saying she told Time she moved toward Trump after feeling unsupported by Democrats during swatting incidents and receiving direct help from Republicans. They saw it as an opportunistic move because she's that's why I said this is some bullshit. Number one, you're sitting there saying that I'm going Republican because I couldn't get Gavin Newsom on the line because my house is being swatted. Meanwhile, you're not the first nor the last celebrity to have their house swatted. There was a bunch of celebrities getting their houses swatted before you. I don't think that automatically means that you just jump political affiliations. And you can vote for whoever the hell you want to vote for. It's just own your shit. That's what we're saying. And you just came with this bullshit ass. You never gave a real reason as to why. It just keeps changing, or it just sounds very surface level and very superficial. So now the revelations triggered strong online reactions, with some defending Nicki's right to choose and others condemning her for aligning with Trump. Now, speaking on Billboard's Pop Shop podcast, Linda Perry speculated that Nicki Minaj's support for Trump may have stemmed from trying to help herself or someone close to her. You don't say. Possibly after being promised something in return. Well, quid pro quo. That's one thing they've always been good at. It's like, I scratch your back if you scratch mine. There's always an opportunistic situation, and I think that's always been the situation with Trump. It's like, if you align with him, it's like, we all know he's an idiot, so we're just gonna flatter him a little bit, tell him did you lose weight? Oh, you look good. All the lies. Oh, that hair is looking fabulous. That's the best hair on a man I've ever seen. Meanwhile, the hair looked dry as wool. And probably feels like, hey, if you put your fingers through it. So give him a little flattery, kiss his ass a little bit, because he's a simple one, with the mind rot. It's him and Democratic, what is it, the Zionist Frankenstein, what's his name, the one, Fetterman? Yeah, so APAC Frankenstein is what I want to call him. So flatter him a little bit, you get what you want out of him. And so that's what she was up in there doing. And when she was up on that stage with Erica Kirk and then went to the recent festival, because I'm trying to remember where exactly was it the thing went when the Trump account summit, when she was up there in that cheap ass fur coat that you see on the right. It just didn't make any logical sense as to why she said she was. And then if you keep pushing against me, I'm just gonna like him hard. I'm like, okay. So somebody disagrees with you, that automatically, and that's the way a lot of people like her think, or people that support him think, oh, because you're against me, now I'm gonna even go further into the bullshit. That's all I gotta say on that. So. And then it said that in the Time interview, she recounted multiple swatting incidents at her LA home between 2022 and 2025 and criticized Gavin Newsom, the California governor, for not responding to her request for help. She contrasted this with Republican Representative Anna Paulina Luna's efforts to connect her with law enforcement and private security. Girl, you couldn't have thought of all that shit on your own with all the money you got. You needed political permission to link you up with law enforcement and private security, or is it just you just not the brightest tool in the shed? Like literally a politician had to recommend this to you? That's common fucking sense. If you got any kind of money, somebody would have been like, well, maybe you need to tighten your security, or maybe you need to contact law enforcement and with cameras or whatever, figure out who's doing this mess. All this technology and all this big brother isms and shit we got going on now, I can't figure out what to do. So then they said, which she said influenced her decision to speak publicly about supporting Trump. Now, Minaj also mentioned feeling out of step with prevailing Democratic leanings, the music industry as another factor in her decision. She attributed part of her political turn to her belief that Jay-Z's Roc Nation holds too much power and has worked against her career. She claimed Jay-Z's closeness to Obama alienated other rappers and fueled resentment within the industry. Those grievances, combined with her COVID-19 vaccine skepticism and criticism from Democrats, reinforced her alignment with Trump and the MAGA movement. So when we call you out on some of the misinformation you were putting out there regarding COVID and testicles, instead of you actually taking the time to educate yourself. I wonder what type of student she was in school. So the teacher trying to tell you stuff and you trying to combat the teacher? Or be combative against the teacher? Is that what you're giving? Because everybody who go to school ain't bright. And I don't know if it might do if you got dyslexia or you just plain stupid. We're not going to discount the people with dyslexia because that's a learning disorder. And everybody's not able to just retain educational stuff in the way that regular people do. You just have to train or teach them in different ways. But when you say something dumb and then we trying to tell you the real deal Holyfield, and then you doubling down instead of just checking your ego and listening and learning, I ain't got time for morons like her. So what I wrote in this situation, gone are the days where I feel empathy for people who wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire, who put their own selfish interests over others who are out in the world worse off than they are. Nicki wouldn't be the first or the last person with a lot of money and influence who snuggles up to a powerful person in order to get something out of them, whether it be an American citizenship or leniency toward her felon husband. All I ask is that whatever political ideologies you decide to align yourself with, just own up to the real reason. Don't sit up there and say it was because Gavin Newsom didn't take time out of his busy schedule to give attention to your home being swatted. Quiet as it's kept, there's been a plethora of reports regarding celebrity swattings, but you don't see them rocking a white fur coat you probably got from the swap meet clearance sale at the Trump account summit. We have a wannabe mafioso masquerading as the president of the United States who is waging an illegal war on Iran. Gas prices are through the roof. Unemployment is at an all-time high. People can't afford to pay their bills and can't afford to buy groceries. But she'd rather sit up in here and take the whole Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high approach with this whole situation. And I'm talking about Linda Perry on that last part. So you rather, she's just misguided. The fuck you mean? Just say that it's like with everything going on in the world, or maybe y'all watch the local news and CNN and MS bullshit NBC or whatever the hell they call themselves, but they're giving you the gentrified version of what's going on in the world. They're not sounding the alarm and letting y'all know what's the real tea going on out here. You have to get that from independent media because regular media ain't going to give it to you. And so she's not misguided. Or maybe she might be misguided or misjudging the situation, but she's incorrect in her overall thoughts on this situation. She doesn't know what she's talking about regardless of politics. And this man that she's shaking hands with and aligning herself with ain't nothing but a goddamn grifter who's pillaging and robbing this country of its resources and many others he's trying to currently colonize. So, okay, Linda, you said what you said. Like, I've been with you on a lot of the stuff where you was spilling tea about what's been going on in your music career and collaborating with all the artists like Christina and the tea you spilled about Rob Fair and how he tried to overtake the Christina song that y'all worked on. I think it was beautiful that they worked on, that he was trying to, tinker with. And, the stories you told about Gwen Stefani and all this other stuff. So I've been living for her on the podcast circuit. But this thing, what you talking about with Nicki, you were absolutely incorrect in your overall thoughts on that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of what she had to say? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Linda got to be heavy online because why does she know about that narrative? Good question, because they did like a little trend thing with her. What was that where they combined Bees in a Trap with What's Up? Everybody was doing that. She even told a story of Jennifer Lopez hitting her up, coming to her house so they could do the challenge. And then once they did it in the way she did, she said, I just went along with it. She did it and then she just left. Representative Summer Lee and Bernie announced a bill to ban super PACs and to dismantle AIPAC for good after losing Massey yesterday. Well, Massey was a Trump supporter who decided to all of a sudden switch narratives, and because I'm questioning the Epstein files and all that other stuff. So idiots went out and decided, okay, now they rather vote for a Trump appointed person. I'm like, y'all out here still protecting rapists? Of course they are. I just wish they own up to it. If you're a capitalist, be a fucking capitalist. Trump, but he said most of these celebrities are capitalists. They hate Trump, but support his fiscal policies. It's like, as long as they can get enough money out of the situation, who has more childbearing hips, Trump or Corey Gamble? Corey Gamble, Cory Booker. Nicki got them same hips as the rest of them. But that's funny. I think Trump's hips is bigger. Linda needed to take her Johnny Depp looking ass on. She kind of do look like him though. Nicki's downfall began when she got that petty in defending her PDF brother, but you can only have empathy for so long. She always defended abusers. Absolutely. And now she aligning herself with one. I saw that interview. It made me listen to her version of Beautiful. She could have kept it, no shade. Yeah, but I think what she was also saying that was a point in her career where she was like, do I want to be an artist or do I want to be a producer? And she felt like the universe pretty much answered that question for her, where she was like, I think it's meant for me to be a producer. But I think now, isn't she releasing new music? So maybe that time has passed. She's like, yeah, I'm back and I want to get back into making music again. Her boomer, we have to be empathetic. Even Michelle Obama said MAGA. She pissed me off with that comment. She's about they ain't racist. Girl, shut up. I need Michelle Obama to get out the podcasting space because she's starting to show her ass too. No, they not. Like, we're not doing this whole we need to reach across the aisle and try to understand them. Like, what are they, an experiment that we need to just dissect and figure out in a fucking lab? We already know what y'all giving. So if you corporate centrist Democrats still want to play this game of we got to reach across the aisle and try to understand what we're doing, like Cory Booker, fake AIPAC money taking ass, still running around saying this mess. It's like y'all haven't learned y'all lesson. Y'all still out here just spewing the same bullshit. And it's funny because one person in the comments when I was reading what she said, they said that's the nicest thing she's ever said about us. I said, I wouldn't have said that shit out loud, that comment, nor what Michelle said. But anyway. All right, y'all. So we're officially at the end of the show. Show probably would have been a lot shorter if we had that Madonna debate situation because the conversation was conversating. Well, it's not even where the conversation was conversing. So yeah, I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Once again, hit that like button, subscribe, hype, smash, do all the good things, that takes to get this show out there. I'll see if I'll probably be back on Friday. You're a mess. He's promoting The Mandalorian. That's what he's doing. But yeah, I'll be back not tomorrow because I'm doing the Knicks game. So they won last night's game. Hopefully it'll be 2 for 2. So yeah, I'll be working the Knicks game tomorrow, but I'll probably see if I can come back on Friday. If not, it is Memorial Day weekend, so I'll probably be able to squeeze a show or something in. We'll have to see. But anyway, so love you all for watching. Thank you all for your continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.